Three, two, one. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Very big news day today. Vladimir Zelensky of the Ukraine. I want to make sure I'm on Wi-Fi. Turn off the Bluetooth. Vladimir Zelensky of the Ukraine came to America. He was in the White House at the behest of Trump from a Trump invite. And the purpose was to negotiate a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia. Trump was going to be the moderator in that. I want you to hear some of how this turned out because it did not go well at all. J.D. Vance got involved because he believed that Zelensky was disrespecting Trump. So J.D. Vance got involved. It literally turned into a shouting match. I don't know why my computer's not acting as quick as I would like to bring it up because it got ugly. It got real ugly.
And forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have
but he didn't do it.
I'm trying to bring up the
what
part
kind
where...
of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about?
Trying to bring up the part where J.D. Vance gets involved.
He occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East, and...
We'll talk about it in a minute because I got to get my clip up. But I see in the comments somebody said J.D. Vance needs to shut up. J.D. Vance basically told Zelensky that you're not respecting Trump and, telling him you should have said thank you and all of this stuff. Fact is, it seems like Vladimir Zelensky doesn't think the deal that Trump is offering is all that great because they want a security promise. In other words, if we agree to this deal and Russia breaks the deal, are you going to step in and help us out? And I don't believe America under Trump wants to do that. So what Zelensky is saying is, look, they don't violate a whole bunch of deals in the past. Why the hell would we enter into a deal with them if there are no security promises between them? And I think that's a legitimate point to be made. But he was accused of Zelensky was accused of being disrespectful. So I think I have this clip I want to run by you queued up.
What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Now he's saying all kinds of shit about you.
What kind of diplomacy?
And now, like I said, if the deal doesn't involve any type of security guarantees for the Ukraine, and they're adamant that Russia has violated, agreements in the past, and he goes down a laundry list of them. I'm trying not to play the full clip, but I'll give you some of Zelensky telling J.D. Vance, and you see Trump is there in the middle. And Trump gets involved and really goes in hard on Zelensky. I mean, a few swear words came out, but Trump really goes in hard on Zelensky as well.
Crimea, so he occupied it on 20...
Here is a description of what he's saying when he's telling J.D. Vance, why the hell will we just trust that Putin is going to do what's right? He's going to go down a laundry list of the times that Putin has already violated agreements between him and the Ukraine.
Words matter more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact...
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2015.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. That people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know.
Now I want to interrupt and say this. So you've seen Trump trying to correct him because Trump has been running on this, giving himself this pat on the back that under him, Putin didn't do anything. And I think a lot of folks agree that under under Trump's first term, Russia was a little bit less hostile. In fact, folks would suggest the world was a little bit less complicated under Trump in terms of volatility. We can debate that in another debate. But here's the issue I want to present to you folks, is that Trump seems to think that he's wording this so that, hey, if I'm in charge, you don't have to worry about Putin doing anything. You don't need a signed agreement because under me, nobody steps forward. I don't think what he's realizing, and what a lot of Trump supporters do not realize, he's only supposed to be around for 4 years. So he's making it sound like as long as I'm in office, you don't have to worry about anything. Well, the rest of the world is going to say, you're not in office very long. I mean, you're talking 3.5 years from now. Trump's term is over if we go by what our laws are. So that's not a long time. So Trump bragging that it doesn't happen under me, you don't have to worry about it, is not a big selling point in terms of folks around the world. They're looking at it like, what is the United States going to do for us? Not what is Trump going to do for us. It's almost like Trump is separating himself from the United States and saying, under me, all this great stuff happened. Well, you're not going to be around that long. So what Zelensky wants is, he wants an agreement, a peace agreement from the United States, not from Trump. So bringing up that it didn't happen under my watch is not very relevant to Zelensky. If you're not getting anything signed on paper, then what happens once Trump's watch is over with? That's the mindset. I want to tell you folks also, because a lot of folks are wondering, why the hell would he even come over here if he wasn't going to accept the deal? I have a talking point on that, but I want you to hear Trump lay into Zelensky. I think
that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversations, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire, all of them told me that he will never go. We signed him gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broke the ceasefire. He killed our people, and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it.
Now, you hear what he's saying? He's saying that he signed into previous deals with Putin, and Putin has been continuing to break the deals. You heard him mention Macron and everybody else, the leader of France at the time, said they told him, this dude is not going to honor these agreements. I mean, so he's saying that, he signed it in the presence of all of them, and he was warned then, this guy is not going to honor these agreements, which makes sense why he's in the White House right now saying, I need something more than just his word at this point.
What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. Now, you should be thanking the president.
Now, before I get into letting him continue to try to tear Zelensky a new one, J.D. Vance has it spot on. He said you shouldn't be here trying to litigate this before the American people. That's the answer to the question of why the hell did he come to America if he was not going to accept the deal that President Trump gave him? Because remember, Trump is telling everybody he already got a deal. So why the hell would you come here if you're not going to accept the deal we talked about? Exactly the reason J.D. Vance gave is that he's coming here to litigate this in front of the American people. In other words, it sounds like Zelensky never wanted to get involved in a deal he made a promise with Trump, but he wanted to control the narrative. In other words, the deal Trump is offering is bullshit, but if I don't come to America and get in front of the the world stage, you know, he's talking on the UN or talking in front of the EU. Nobody in America is going to watch that. I personally believe he deliberately came to America to go in on this huge platform so that everybody could see his point. Because if he did this behind the scenes with Trump, then Trump's going to control all the narrative. I had a talk with Zelensky. It was the best talk ever. We made a great deal and all of that. If Zelensky doesn't think it's a great deal, his part of the story is not going to get out much, at least in terms of the Americans. Most Americans are not sitting around watching UN and EU speeches. So what he did was came to America, sat here in the White House, and then decided to make his point known that this was a bullshit deal because he knew he was going to get a considerably larger audience. And that's what J.D. Vance is pointing out. Why would you come here and litigate this shit? Because this is the only time you guys would listen. Continuing on.
President, for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you see what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know that what happens is you bring.
Now, real quick, this is funny because J.D. Vance is trying to tell him how fucked up the Ukraine is. And he's like, you ain't even been here. He's like, have you ever been to the Ukraine? I'll rewind it a couple seconds.
Bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you see what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know that what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems with bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but
Here
you
comes
have
Trump.
nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it.
Okay, now he's going to say that during the war, everybody has problems. And eventually, if we let Putin continue, America's going to feel the problems as well. And this is where Trump gets pissed off. Trump is like, you can't say that you don't know that. And this is where it gets to be a little bit more heated, as if it already wasn't with J.D. Vance.
Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about
From
it.
the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't get to play cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of billions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III.
Real quick, and I'll let it continue on, but he's telling them you're gambling with World War III. His country is already getting decimated. He don't give a shit about the claims you're gambling with World War III. We already at war. So what Trump is threatening him with is a concern for other countries. But Zelensky's already at war. So yelling at him we're gambling with World War III is going in one ear and out the other. Like, have you not seen what's been happening in our country for the last 3 years? We're already at war. So I want you to hear the rest of it, though, but it's not going to be, I only got about another few seconds of it, but it's not going to be any deal between these two. You know Trump doesn't like this level of disrespect. He's already got Lindsey Graham and the rest of them doing the talk show circuits and things like that, defending what came out. They've already been on X. Zelensky's already posted something on X as well. Looking in the comments real quick, and I'll go to the box and start taking callers shortly. Will G says Trump ain't shit, MAGA ain't shit, says MAGA has no idea what they voted for. The Simpsons and Back to the Future hasn't lied yet. Doesn't the Simpsons predict the death or something of Trump? Anyhow, I want you guys to hear the conclusion of this.
And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you far more than a lot of people say they should have.
Have you said thank you once this entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, you said thank you. You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America.
Now, real quick, J.D. Vance is right. Zelensky was campaigning for, Biden and Kamala Harris. Why the hell would he campaign for Trump when Trump's calling him a dictator and said he's dealing with biolabs and all kinds of shit and speaking favorable to Russia? That's not a bash of Trump, but I think everybody knows that the liberals, in terms of Biden and Kamala Harris, were more favorable to Zelensky and the Ukrainians than Trump. So what do you think? Zelensky's going to be MAGA? You think he was going to put on a MAGA hat towards the end of last year with all the stuff that Trump was saying? So they're bringing this up, and J.D. Vance is right. But here's the question. J.D. Vance is telling them, why aren't you saying thank you and all of this stuff? And Trump is saying that Zelensky is disrespecting America, as if he wasn't on TV just a few days ago calling Zelensky a dictator. So they're talking about Zelensky is disrespecting America, but both of these guys, Trump and J.D. Vance, has not said anything positive about Zelensky, really, or the Ukraine in recent times, up to and including blaming them for the war.
And the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war,
He's not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I answer?
No, you've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks.
You haven't been
alone.
You haven't been alone. We gave you, through this stupid president, $350 billion. We gave you military equipment, and you men are brave, but they had to use our military equipment. If you didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something.
Maybe less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this.
I tell you, to say thank you.
I said
it. J.D. Vance keeps saying, if you hadn't said thank you, like, he doesn't like the fucking deal. Why is he going to say thank you for something he don't agree with? He obviously does not agree with the deal. He's pointed out that the Russians keep violating treaties and agreements. So he wants some sort of security from the United States to say that if Russia violates X, you will do Y. Trump is saying we're not going to do that. We're going to end this right now. We're going to stop you guys from having folks get killed. But if Putin decides to start killing people again next month, we are not going to commit to do anything about it. So why would Zelensky enter this deal, which sounds just like all the other deals he's entered? So what do you guys think about Zelensky coming to America and challenging Trump like that in the White House? Wow. In the White House. And keep in mind Zelensky's mother tongue. I mean, obviously he doesn't speak English for his primary language. He's not Benjamin Netanyahu. He does not speak English as well. Oftentimes he uses an interpreter. So you see him looking a bit confused at times and things like that, because they're throwing, he probably is trying to interpret this shit in his mind as fast as possible. But what do you think about Zelensky? How do you think the European Union is going to view him? Because he actually is fighting back to some degree. Looking in the comments before I continue on, while Zelensky was on the same trip in Pennsylvania, he visited an ammunition plant and in fact did visit Trump. J.D. Vance, the dumbass lied. No, well, I disagree. The MD20, thank you for the support. I don't listen. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying about who met with him meeting with them, but everybody knows Zelensky was rooting for Biden and Harris. I don't think he even need to tell you that. Why the hell would he be rooting for Trump when Trump is talking about all kinds of biolabs and things going on in the Ukraine, and he's speaking favorably of Russia? Zelensky knew that if Biden lost and Trump won, his relationship with the United States was going to take a turn for the worse. I don't think anybody watching me right now would disagree with that. that our relationship with the Ukrainians was going to be worse than it was under Biden or Harris if Trump won. I think everybody knew that. So it may have gotten even worse than we originally thought, but we knew it was going to get bad. We knew that Trump was not in favor of helping them out with weapons and things like that. So I don't think that that is like up for debate. Real quick, Trump wants Ukraine to pull out of Russia. Wait a minute. Will G, you said Trump wants the Ukraine to get out of Russian areas and Russia to keep Ukrainians areas on top of that. Trump wants Ukrainian minerals. We know about that. Talk about a rock in a hard place. Trump cuddling to Putin really snug. Well, like I said, everybody knows that Trump is more favorable to Putin than he is to Zelensky. Has he said anything negative about Putin at all? Like at all? So I think it was pretty obvious. And I seen the comment, someone that said Trump wants to surrender Ukraine to Russia. I think Zelensky took a real big gamble here. I mean, like, shit, we already know that that the Russians have already had an assassination plot on Zelensky's life before because our intelligence told us under the Biden administration to come to the United States. I don't know, shit, did we even offer him a safe passage out? Now he's heading to London next. He was told to leave the White House after this. Obviously, they had a signing table. They were prepared to sign some kind of agreement so Trump could hold it up or whatever. That didn't happen. Lunch was not served. And he was eventually asked to leave the White House. So Zelensky has left, and he's heading to London. I think that's going to be a real interesting conversation in regards to what's said in London. I'm dying to hear that.
Except that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on. I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards. You're buried there. Your people are dying. You're running low on soldiers. Listen, you're running low on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing. And then you tell.
When is the last time you ever seen anybody in power, any politician, talk over Trump? When have you ever seen that? Trump is clearly upset, and this guy ain't giving him the respect to even let him continue in Senate. When have you ever seen that other than maybe Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer sitting there next to him? Have you seen that in recent times ever? How is that going to look on the world stage with Zelensky trying to talk over Trump?
Low on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing. And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go, and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you.
You should have saw, I don't know if you can see it on my monitor, but when Trump started saying that Zelensky said, I don't want a ceasefire, he literally he twists his head, he stares at Trump with a what the fuck look. I'm going to rewind it a couple seconds. I don't know if you can see the monitor behind me, but it is quite interesting if you can get a view of it.
If you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you'd take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But I'm saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't with me. That wasn't with me. That was with a guy named Biden who was not a smart person. That was with Obama.
It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
And then Trump says, we've had enough, this is over with. So Zelensky stood his ground. Whether you think he's right or wrong, he got his point across. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to start the show out. Wow. You guys know how we run it. We don't block, ban, or censor. You can certainly get your point across. You can be critical of anybody on the program up to it, including the host. We go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. Right off the bat, that's going to be the first thing. How do you view Zelensky? Was that disrespectful to do that in the White House on national TV? No deal was signed. Probably won't be a deal signed anytime soon. So going straight to the box, what One hell of a conversation. I must say that. One hell of a conversation. Miss Mo Better, good evening. Or is it evening? Yeah, good evening. Welcome to the show, Miss Mo Better. Did you see any of this earlier?
I did.
Oh my God.
I did. Trump and JD Vance was crashing out. You know why they was crashing out? Because they thought he was just going to come in there and bow down to what they said. Now, I give Zelensky a lot of respect because that's what patriotism do. He said, it don't matter what y'all say. I'm going to stand with my country regardless. I'm not just going to hand it over to you. If they going to do it, they going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
They was criticizing him, talk about this. Does he ever wear a suit? He said, I'm in war over here in my country. What am I coming here in a suit?
Let me just say something also. Anybody who would criticize Zelensky and say, does he ever wear a suit? And you're a fan of Elon Musk walking around with a tech support t-shirt on everywhere he goes. So I don't,
Exactly.
that makes no sense.
And he was standing in the Oval Office with no suit.
Right.
And come on, and see, it's the hypocrisy. That's what I really can't stand with. I can't do the hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, Zelensky, he got up there, he held his own. He stood his ground with them.
I
And
didn't expect.
regardless of what happens, I'm glad he didn't bow down to them because Trump and them thought they could get in there and he only had JD Vance in there because Trump wouldn't be able to even keep up with the conversation with Zelensky.
I don't know. JD Vance, I mean, we haven't even seen or heard from him. Where the hell has he been? I mean, he really.
No, hey,
Go ahead.
he's somewhere trying to get operations for them unvaccinated kids. That's where he's been. No, and that's the true story. I'm not making.
You're talking about the ones. Wait. You're not talking about the measles outbreak, are you? What are you talking about?
No. He has a child that needs a heart transplant or something, but they couldn't get a niece or something needed a transplant, but they couldn't get it because the child is unvaccinated.
Wow.
Look it up. Yeah, so they went to another country trying to get this stuff done. Him, his wife, and the kids were in another country, a 12-year-old.
No, I'm not aware of that. I'm not aware.
Yeah. So, but Zelensky held his own, and that's what that means to be a patriot. You don't go around selling your country out to another country, and that's exactly what our commander-in-chief has done. Today proved that everything that what's her name, Hillary, everybody's been saying about him standing with Russia, he proved that today. If anybody didn't see that, then you're just being obtuse.
Well, I don't know. How did he stand with Russia, though? How are you saying that?
Because he's fighting so hard for that man to surrender his country, and you know who's after the country. It ain't really just us. It's Putin. Yeah, they have some minerals and stuff that we want, but we know Putin wants Ukraine.
Yeah.
Because other than that, he wouldn't have attacked them. And then for Trump to come out with that lie to say that Ukraine started it, just so he could have a justification for not following through on the agreement that we have with Ukraine. So he's going to make up a lie just so he can pivot.
So where do we go from here? Obviously, we're not going to get a deal between these two. So what do you think America's take is on this? I mean, are we going to just stand by and say whatever happens, happens? Are we going to help the Russians? I mean, where do you think we stand on this?
That's what I see happening. He's going to have to continue to lick Putin's boots because they have already made these agreements. Let me handle this. It's going to be easy. You know, Trump always bigs himself up with everything, inflates everything about himself. So he has Putin believing, I'm going to have this meeting with him,
right,
and I'm going to bring him to the White House. He's going to respect me because he's in my house, and you're going to get your way.
And you don't see this.
And that did not happen. That's why he started crashing out. And I was cracking out. I said, hey, crashing out. That shit was funny.
I had to pull over. You know, I'm driving. Yeah. I'm actually working my day job when this shit took place. I actually had to pull over. I'm like, am I hearing what I mean, because they were going at it so hard. I mean, because like I said, when is the last time you've heard a politician go this hard with Trump? I don't even think the liberals are doing this. This was like straight out of the Jasmine Crockett playbook. So
man, he might have spoken to her before he went into the meeting. But and if Zelensky could have spoke a little more English, he would have told JD Vance off.
Yeah.
He would have told his ass off. But like you said, his English is not that great. So he can only keep up with so much. So he really wasn't even offended by the things that Trump was saying. He really wasn't offended. like Trump thought he was doing to him. You know what I mean?
Well,
because he doesn't really understand the language.
Yeah, see, what I don't get is folks are suggesting that that Zelensky was disrespectful to Trump, as J.D. Vance said, or disrespectful to the United States. And I'm like, you do realize he just called this dude a dictator a couple of days ago. Just a couple of weeks ago, he was blaming him for starting a war. So, well, I mean, what you expect him to do? Come over with a smile on his face?
Come on. Y'all talk about, did you say thank you? Did you say thank you? You should be more grateful. Come on, they sound like two little bitches. They sound like the odd couple.
Damn. Yeah, and I mean, that's what it does sound like. And by the way, D-Rod, thank you for the sub. It does sound like they were expecting Zelensky to be very grateful. But as I pointed out, you don't blame them for starting a war, and you don't call this guy a dictator. Like, what kind of demeanor were you expecting him to have when he came over here? I mean, we've been disrespecting the hell out of him.
They wanted him to kiss that ring, and he missed that assignment. He missed that assignment. He said, this is not what because like he said, what kind of guarantees do I have? If you're not giving me no guarantees, I'm not going to just hand my stuff over. You're just going to have to come and take it, or whoever. And now they keep saying Russia has nukes and all of that stuff. But what's going to happen, Zelensky's going to leave here. He's going to go to Poland. He's going to go to all of those other countries that is not in there. He's going to build his own alliance.
Do you see a possibility of the European Union and the United States having a falling out over what to do about this war?
I absolutely see it. Because again, Trump goes around making enemies. He always talk about peace and all that stuff. First of all, you're about money and power. Peace ain't nowhere in your dictionary. So he's making the people over there in Europe, those people, nobody's happy with the United States right now. Nobody's happy with them because they see how they renege on contracts. You renege on agreements.
Yeah. I don't think there's any denying it. But I mean, like I say on my program all the time, we've been known to renege on agreements long before Trump even came around. I mean, we were reneging on agreements before Trump was born. I mean, that's our history.
This is at a whole new level now. You're talking about World War III. You're talking about on a whole new level.
But like I said, and Trump told him that you're playing with World War III. But like I said in the commentary, he's been at war for 3 years. That don't mean shit to him. You're telling me I'm playing with World War III? Damn it, I'm already at war.
Yeah, well, I'm at war now. Well, whatever. and y'all trying to bully me out of the rest. No, fuck you.
Yeah.
How about that? That's what he said to him in so many words. And the words that he couldn't get out there, I'm going to speak it for him. He told Trump, fuck you. How about that? So
before moving on from you, what do you think? Trump's stance is America first. We need to get out of this shit. We don't need to be sending money overseas. Would you have supported the Biden-Harris belief that we should still keep funding them, or do you support what Trump is saying, where our money needs to start going and take care of Americans?
I am for people honoring their word. Let's do what you said you were going to do. The contract value this contract that we had in place. You know what I mean? So that means I can trust you. That means I can trust you because you kept your word.
Explain the contract. Elaborate on it.
Minutes or whatever, you would protect me. They held up their end of the bargain, and we should hold ours up.
And when you say the contract we had in place, for folks who don't know, explain that.
Well, I guess I don't know it fully. So they had an agreement. We had an agreement with Ukraine that if they were to surrender their nuclear power or whatever, if they were ever to come into any kind of contact or conflict with anybody else, that we would protect them. We would give them military. It was us. We would give them stuff to help them fight or whatever.
Right.
Our weapons. We would give them military weapons and stuff so they can help defend themselves. We weren't to give them boots on the ground. No, we don't have any boots on the ground there. But we did. That was a part of the contract.
Fair enough, Miss Mobetta. A lot of energy.
So
thank you. A lot of energy, Miss Mobetta. Appreciate it. Good talk.
Of course. I got it all day, every day.
Thanks for coming through. All right, moving on with the program. I want to ask. I'm going to go to the other side of the aisle as we try to do when we can. But before I do this, on the super chat, anyone really excited for the Epstein files is nothing but a fool, especially if Trump is the one to put it out. It will be heavily redacted because Trump is all over it. Things won't make any sense. I think the problem with the Epstein files is the sheer amount of years that have went by. Look, the guy was a piece of garbage. I don't think anybody would deny that. So was Ghislaine Maxwell, whatever his pimp. She was basically a female pimp for him. But as the years have went by, I think people have gotten less and less interested in it. But I do agree that Trump was an associate of Epstein. So I know the Trump supporters were trying to bring up that, well, his name wasn't on the flight log, or, he didn't go to the island or whatever. When this was news, I brought up then that Epstein was incredibly wealthy, had his own fucking island, so that kind of explains that. And he was obviously a sexual predator. You think he only committed criminal sex acts on that island? If he's laying in bed in Manhattan and he feel like doing something, and he got a personal pimp on speed dial in Ghislaine Maxwell, you really think he's going to fly to the island and do that? So when people say, well, this person wasn't on the island or they weren't on the flight list, so that means they're innocent, bullshit. That guy definitely had some crimes committed on the, the mainland, on the lower 48. I'm pretty confident that if he was as bad as he looks, he didn't do all of that on the island. He definitely violated people around the American states. So any associate of his is worth looking into, because you don't need to just be on the damn island. And also, when folks say, well, this person's name was not on the flight list, I'm not saying Trump was involved in anything Epstein did, but Trump's name don't need to be on the flight list if he wanted to. He has his own aircraft. So just because you go through Epstein's flight list and you don't see his name, no other plane landed on that island? Nobody couldn't have their own private jet or yacht go to that island? That flight list is the only way you can tell? That's bullshit. So I just want to make it clear that the flight list don't tell the tale. There was other ways to get to the island. Some of the big players that hung around Zelensky, like royalty from England and things like that, they got ways to fly over there without needing to be on the flight list. Don't be surprised if Putin makes his way to D.C. Didn't Trump invite Putin to D.C. before? I wouldn't be surprised at that. I certainly would not be surprised if that happened. I thought there were no conflicts. Javelins. Now, Trump said he gave him javelins and that Obama gave him sheets or something like that. I don't know. It's a good talking point for Trump, though. I don't know where to go with it. Before we go back to the box, the only reason why we were involved in these conflicts is because it's better to fight overseas than to have fights here at home. That is a common phrase you hear, it's better to stop it over there than to have it come here. That does make sense. But because MAGA is dumb, we fight on both fronts. Things will go boom, says Will G. Now, we can talk about MAGA being dumb. I don't want to call any group of people dumb, but I do believe that if we keep getting involved in some of this stuff, things going boom, terrorist activity, I can see that happen. Certainly with the whole Gaza, Trump tweeting out pictures of him and Netanyahu sitting on the beach sipping Mai Tais, and Elon's in the back counting money, and they're all in Gaza, and the people of Gaza, the Palestinians, can't come back. That's really, really a incentive for things to go boom. So, yeah, I can see some of that happening. Look, at the end of the day, we are a superpower. We are the greatest military might on the planet, but that don't give you the right to go around bullying everybody and just suggest that we can kick everybody's ass at once. Because at the end of the day, Trump, Vance, and the rest of the folks, none of them are going to war. They're doing that with the kids of you and me. It's our children. When they say we can kick your ass, they're talking about using your family members as boxing gloves. They're not going to say, you're not going to have any Trump on the battlefield. You're not going to have anybody from Vance's family probably out there. It's our families that they're bragging that they can kick ass with. They're putting our families in harm's way. So keep that in mind. Going back to the box, the one and only Snugs. Good evening, Snugs.
My friend, hello. Great to see you, brother.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. And I know I'm getting a lot of things wrong in your opinion, so correct me.
Yes. Well, let me just tell you this: the Democrats have to stop doing what they're doing, because if Kamala was in office, all we're going to do is give them our tax dollars, billions of dollars. They would just sat on their asses and just let us send money there. Donald Trump's being a leader. He's being a strong-handed, because we need a leader to stop this bullshit. He doesn't want people dying. And he's not a Putin lover. You guys are amazing people. We need to get on top of this and be a stronger country and a stronger leader. And Zelensky's not agreeing to us helping them, give them security and doing mineral for trade as well. If he runs to Europe, Europe's not going to agree with them. Europe has come here to get an agreement together with Zelensky, and he's not agreeing with it. Zelensky's a scum. He's a scumbag. So
why are you saying, what has Zelensky done to indicate he's a scum? Now, what do you think of Putin, by the way? Because Trump was asked, is Putin a dictator? What do you think of Putin?
What do I think of Putin?
Yeah.
Well, where's the war at? First of all, what country is the war at mainly? It's in Ukraine, right?
Yeah.
So we deal with the Ukrainian president, so that we can join forces with them to help secure their nation. We'll give them security and to create a trade with us. They owe us billions of dollars.
They're not offering security. Wait, they're not offering security. That's the problem. No, they're not.
No, we are offering security.
No, they're not.
To secure that area that Russia wants.
Wait,
Russia wants those minerals. Russia wants that area that we are going to secure. It's like monopoly. We're going to help them.
So you're not offering. So you're not securing the Ukrainians. You're securing the Russia area where they're extracting minerals.
Right. Europe and us are trying to get Zelensky to agree with this peace plan. And when Zelensky goes over to Europe to try to ask him for that, Europe's going to tell him to fuck off too. So that lady that was in before us, she doesn't know. She's like, I don't know the plan. That's the plan. Zelensky's not agreeing to it. That's why he was yelled at today. He's a wishy-washy guy. He's not a leader. And he is a dictator because he doesn't want to go with the elections. He wants to be the leader. He is a dictator.
Wait. Let me hold on. And this whole thing about he's a dictator because he doesn't want to go with the elections. You got Trump and Putin suggesting that Ukraine should hold elections in the middle of a war where people are in trenches. Millions of people have been displaced to Poland and other neighboring cities. I mean, how can you hold an election in the middle of a war when half of the country's not even there? Where are the polling places going to be where you can easily blow them up at? You really want them to hold an election in the middle of a war?
I don't know. I don't know how you do that, but...
Right. The reason they want it is so they can interfere with it and hopefully get Zelensky out and get somebody that is pro-Russia in. I mean, you got a large portion of Ukraine that's under occupation by Russia right now. They're not going to hold elections in that. So we want any election is not going to be done fairly. I think that's pretty obvious.
Right, and you know the interview. You know Donald Trump's not sure Putin's going to agree to anything. He said that in many of the interviews. So what do you mean that he's going to be he's going along with Putin? He's not sure what Putin will agree.
Well, if Trump, well, you just admitted Trump is calling Zelensky a dictator and saying they should have elections. That is coming right out of Putin's playbook. That's a perfect example of how he's going along with Putin. I mean, you know, just based on your admission, you realize it makes no sense to try to hold an election in the middle of a war.
Right. What's Trump trying to do in the long run?
We don't fucking know. He ain't trying to help the Ukrainians.
He doesn't want people to die. He doesn't want soldiers in Russia and soldiers in Ukraine to die. He doesn't want people to die. What the Democrat Party is, they want war, they want people to die, and they want to just keep sending their money. Is that logical?
Well, what you said is not logical. When you say that Trump wants...
But if Kamala was here, she would continue to pump the war.
We can't... Look, let me just say this. Let me just say this. I don't buy what you're saying about Kamala, but I'm not going to argue with it because she's not in office. I mean, we can talk about what she would do.
But they never negotiated for 3 years. Facts?
They were just kicking ass.
Right. Well, Trump and Ukraine and Russia didn't have any problems when he was in office the first time. This would have never happened.
Well, according
up your crap, you guys.
According to Zelensky, that they did have a problem. Zelensky doesn't agree because he stated that Russia.
We're we're still loading the money. We didn't send that much money during the first Trump administration. We're sending them billions of dollars here. We're tired of the border. We're tired of the wars. And you Democrats want to continue to funnel the money to whichever where. You guys have no clue on running this country, and we're cleaning it up. We didn't have this shit when Trump was in office the first time. You guys are just aiding and abetting wars. And then you're crying when Trump's sticking up for it. Trump had a right to go off. We're tired of the bullshit.
I don't know if it's necessarily bullshit because it ain't like Ukraine.
We're catering to it. We're babying them. We don't need to baby Zelensky.
Do you
Shut the fuck up, Zelensky?
Do you think there's in regards to the Russian-Ukrainian war, who's the bad guy in your opinion?
Who's the bad guy?
Yeah.
Both parties, Zelensky and Russia.
What is it? Okay, so if they're both bad, what did the Ukrainians do that's bad in the Russian-Ukrainian war? What did they do wrong?
They're not making peace.
Wait a minute. You kicking my ass. And hold on. What you basically are saying, hold on. You punched me in the face. Wait, hold on. You punched me in the face, you beating my ass, and I'm wrong because I'm not saying please stop? Is that what you're telling me?
Right, well, we're certainly aiding the event by sending them money. We're aiding the war. Iran is sending. When Biden lifted up the sanctions in Iran, they're sending their missiles because they're sending their missiles over to Russia.
You didn't answer the question. What is the Ukrainians doing that is wrong?
We're aiding missiles from Iran to Russia because Biden lifted the sanctions there, and we're helping Ukraine. We were helping both sides of this war. So it doesn't help us, and that's why Trump was pissed and said, make a fucking decision because we're not doing it. Now Trump is sanctioning Iran again and going to make them stop doing their missiles. That's what's happening currently.
Okay.
We're cleaning up Biden's mess.
Okay, I appreciate.
Fuck our country.
I appreciate your commentary and your passion, but you didn't answer a damn thing I asked you. What has the Ukrainians done that's wrong?
Listening.
Huh?
You're not listening.
I am listening. I'm listening. I'm asking you what's 2 + 2, and you're describing the theory of relativity. I'm asking you what did the Ukrainians do that's wrong?
Is that our problem?
So in other words, nothing.
No. Is that our problem? If we go into war, are they going to help us? If we go into war in our country, are they going to help us?
Then
Let me ask you in that sense.
If put it this way, if Biden was president and we went to war, I think the Ukrainians to answer the hold on. I do believe they would help us. We've had countries smaller and weaker than the Ukraine help us in conflicts.
Europe owes us money. Ukraine owes us money. They're broke ass. It's like going out with you. It would be like going out with you. I'd be paying for your beer all the time, right? And then you don't pay me for a beer. It's like hanging out with a mooch. Get rid of these mooches. You know what I'm saying?
I swear to God, I didn't know. I thought they had canceled the episodes of Deep Space Nine. You're taking me way out somewhere.
I am taking you Deep Space Nine.
When you ask me, would the Ukrainians help the Americans if we went to war? I would give you the coalition of the willing in regards to the Iraq war. A lot of countries that were a lot smaller and weaker than the Ukraine helped us out in that war. So yeah, I think the Ukraine would do it.
Why didn't Zelensky agree with the peace contract with Europe and us? Why isn't he agreeing with it?
There's nothing in it for
to
him.
secure the nation and to work with the trade.
Why
isn't he agreeing?
Because of exactly what I said in the opening, is that we're not offering him anything if Russia violates the agreement. We need to go into an agreement with the Ukrainians that say, okay, there's going to be a ceasefire. You know, Russia keeps this much of your land, or they keep nothing, or whatever. But this agreement is only contingent on no one starting any new shit, and we're not offering that to Zelensky. We're not offering it because he just said they keep violating agreements.
We just offered it to him. And then we're taking it to Putin what the offer is. And if you're not going to agree to the offer, Europe and us are going to have a problem with Russia.
Yeah, he doesn't agree with.
Why isn't he agreeing to this? We put billions into him. Why is he being an asshole?
Because he doesn't see it as what you're talking about. He doesn't.
Just back out and not deal with anything then. Let them fuck with what they're fucking with. Then they don't need our help.
Well, then that's Trump's.
Back out and don't give them a dime.
I think that's what we were trying to do anyway, was it not?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're not.
Out and give them out and don't give them anything. It's done.
Okay. All right. Well,
We need to lead this country. We need to lead this country. Look at all that U.S. aid and all that crap that went out. And all that border money that went out. Biden fucked us. All you guys fucked us. Totally. Got to come in here and clean this mess up. Give me a break. You know how it was in the 80s and 90s. We need leadership. Our parents were leaders. Everybody were leaders. This is horrible.
When you're talking about how much we need leadership, is uniting the nation part of good leadership?
Not at this time. Because they took advantage of us. With our billions of dollars, they took advantage of us. Where did our money go to?
I'm talking about America, Snugs. I'm talking about America. I'm talking about uniting the American people. I mean, we're divided as a people. I'm not even talking about international. I'm talking about in this country domestically. Is uniting your own people part of good leadership?
No, because you've been going after Trump for 10 years. You guys are not united.
So in other words,
2028 presidential nominee for Democrats. Who's your leader in the Democrat Party? You have no leadership.
right now, hold on. Right now, 4 years ago, you guys didn't have any leadership. QAnon was telling us that Trump was going to be the 17th president and Nancy Pelosi was going to be arrested by the military. You didn't have any leadership 4 years ago either.
Well, guess what? We're leading now, aren't we?
Okay, 4 years. 4 years in the future, we may be leading too.
That was 4 years of fantasy that you guys were talking about in your news groups. We were all united. We were together with Trump. You guys just made that shit up.
Right.
Why are we still together now?
Right. There was nobody saying that Nancy Pelosi was
$8 million. There was $8 million of U.S. aid given to those news organizations to make you guys believe them, and you guys fell. You guys fell for the joke. You guys fell on the sword of your news groups. All of you fake news people. All of them. Shame on you.
I can't speak on the fake news people because I just watched Trump say he didn't know he even called Zelensky a dictator. And that was all over TV. Why would he not know what he said a few days ago?
I think he's a dictator. Because there's hundreds
That ain't answering what I'm asking you. Why would Trump hold on. That ain't answering what I'm asking you. Why would Trump call the man a dictator, then less than a week later not even remember doing so?
That's news.
Is he Joe? Does he got dementia? Is he coming down with what Joe Biden has?
Listen, you guys have done fake news for a very long time. Your court cases failed you. Everything that you say that comes out of your mouths have failed miserably. Any May presidency. You guys are failing. Get off of Donald Trump, right? Stop humping his leg and start moving forward. Okay, guys? Move forward with yourselves.
Stop
That's
humping
disgusting, Democrats.
Stop humping his leg. Is that what you just said?
That's all you guys are Trump humpers. Because I don't see you guys working with the political policies anymore. You guys have no leadership. You have no 2028 Democratic leader. You have nothing. You just stated yourself. You just stated yourself that part of leadership is not even uniting your own people. So when you ask why aren't the Democrats working with Trump, you guys are against him.
And he's against.
You guys are the one against him.
So the Democrats are against Trump, but he is not against the Democrats. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. You guys are the ones that talk the most. Your mouths are more open than anything.
Okay.
We're defending what he's doing for this country.
All right.
You guys are failing.
Apparently, you don't pay attention to any of this.
You though.
I gotta go, Snugs. You don't make it easy. You don't make it easy. You don't make it easy.
Put your red hat on, bro, because you know you're with me.
Yeah, you know what? You know what? What the hell's my red hat?
You voted for Trump. One more. Did you vote for Donald Trump?
No, I didn't.
Be honest.
No.
With a straight face. Did you vote for Donald Trump?
He talked about giving police immunity from prosecution, so that.
Wait. No, you didn't answer the question.
I did. I said no.
Yeah, you did?
No, I did not.
You're such a liar, bro.
But before I let you go, I'm gonna do what you asked. You asked me to put on my red hat just for you, just because I like you so much.
Make America great again. Hat.
Just because I like you so damn much.
Yeah, okay.
I gotta go.
I love you, bro.
Same.
I love you, man.
Always a good talk. Always a good talk. Snugs, thank you. All right, moving on with the program. Tap the screen, by the way. Get your boy on. I'm in the trenches here. Whoa, Brian. Appreciate Bryce, rather. Bryce, thank you, Bryce Ferg. Appreciate that galaxy, man. Thank you. Helps out the show. Appreciate it. Thank you for your support. Going back to the box real quick. Will G says, we never sent them money. We sent them dated weapons. That's true. From what I hear, by the way, and thank you, Lewis, appreciate the clause there. from what I hear, and maybe I'm wrong on this, you guys in the comments can always entertain where I'm getting this wrong and correct me on this. But from what I hear, the weapons we sent to Ukrainians actually benefited Americans and created American jobs. We actually benefited from sending them those. And as Will is pointing out, it wasn't top of the line shit. We're not sending them F-22s, F-35s, and top of the line equipment. We sent them, secondary type stuff. So that's what I heard. Real quick in the comments. Again, MAGA is dumb, says Will G. Says they don't even, thank you for the money gun, it says they don't even know what Putin wants. Ukraine is the only thing standing if between Russia becoming the USSR again. Now, I'll tell you this, MAGA definitely disagrees with what Will said, is that the Ukraine is the only thing standing between Russia reestablishing the Soviet Union. But the Eastern Europeans agree with what he said. The Eastern Europeans feel that if Russia is allowed free reign in the Ukraine, they're not going to stop at the Ukraine. So as me and my first caller, Ms. Mobetta, was talking about, that could hurt America's relationship with the EU. It could certainly, because they do realize now that you can't depend on the United States to keep Russia at bay anymore. I think that's the way they're seeing it. I don't think that they're seeing it like what my last caller was saying, is that Zelensky is a bad guy. And I don't think they're seeing it that way. I think most of the Eastern Europeans and Western Europeans, to some degree, the whole Western world, including places like Australia and New Zealand, the whole Western world, maybe outside of Benjamin Netanyahu because he got his own agenda, but I think the whole Western world sees Russia as the aggressor in that war. I don't think anybody other than Trump sees the Russians as victims of that. And my last caller, of course. In the comments, Will G says, MAGA ain't shit. He says, did you know that Ukraine send firefighters to California to combat the fires? And that's what I was saying, is that the Ukraine absolutely would feel indebted to the United States under a Biden or Harris administration. And I definitely believe that if we went to war, they would send a few folks. I mean, they could have, keep in mind, they could have bowed down to the Russians a long time ago. They were obviously willing to fight their asses off. As the man said, I don't need a ride, I just need ammunition. So it's clear that he wants to fight. I think Trump made fun of him showing up today. You see what Zelensky's wearing there? Just some, it looks like he has on just like a thermal sweater or something that looks like a thermal sweater and a pair of slacks, and it's got their symbol on it. And Trump made some type of, kind of mocked his outfit. In other words, you're not wearing a suit or tie or whatever. And I'm at war. Fuck dressing formal, I'm at war. I mean, he corrected Trump on a few things because Trump told him, you don't have the cards to be trying to negotiate. He's like, I'm not playing cards. People dying. I mean, he stood his ground. When the USSR forms back fully and wants war with MAGAs, foolish behind is going to be asking how we got into this situation and who was in charge. I don't think they're going to be asking that. I think they'll be blaming the Democrats, suggesting that if it wasn't for Biden and Kamala Harris, Russia would never have been at this level or something of that nature. I don't think Trump's going to take any blame from this for MAGA at all. They're going to tie it to the Biden administration, which is what my last caller was doing. Nevertheless, going back to the box, Denkow, welcome to the program, Denkow. Now, Denkow, you're following up the Honorable Snug, so I'm assuming you got a different opinion than my last caller.
Man, please don't put honorable in front of his name. Please. Anything other than that.
Okay. Well, Snugs is my boy. I go to his lives also. We don't agree on shit.
I get it. I know he's a far right personality, and he would drink Trump's dirty bath water.
Damn.
I get it. That's his guy. And nothing he can do is wrong.
So what
even when he sees them, even when you explained to him and broke down the stuff, then his only answer is, why should we care? We in the middle of all of this shit together, and he's saying, why should we care?
Yeah.
Why should we care? We should care because Trump is over there trying to swindle him out of $500 billion of rare earth materials.
Yeah.
Talking about he wants it for what we gave them in the past with no security agreements going forward.
Yeah, and that's what my last caller was adamant that we are offering them security guarantees, and I'm like with you. We're not offering them anything.
He would not be sitting in the Oval Office saying in front of everybody,
everybody, I just want security guarantees. If that weren't the case, if it wasn't in the deal, because it would have been easy for them to stop him and say, we did, you know, he's saying, look, I came here with the understanding that there would be some security, you know, agreements along with the minerals deal. Why would I come all of this way and just sign over minerals and then that's it?
Well, I can answer that question from the Trump and J.D. Vance standpoint. They believe that, look, at the end of the day, you guys are desperate. Without our help, Russia's going to overwhelm you. So you'll do whatever the hell we tell you just to get Russia off your ass. I think that's what Trump expected him to view, and they thought he was going to just take this deal. But yeah, Zelensky pushes back and says, why would we jump up and down and celebrate you ending the war with no promise that if he starts it up in a month, you're going to do anything?
Right. It makes no sense. He would have been the dumbest, you know, president or leader of a country had he signed that deal.
Yeah.
Had he signed that deal, look, Trump's been dealing with Putin all of this time. What is Putin coming to the table with? He wants. Wait a minute. The war is between Ukraine and Russia. He wants one side to sign a deal, and the other person hasn't even made clear what they are going to do.
I don't think there's any expectation from Russia other than a ceasefire. I don't even think. Hold on, let me add to that. Not only do I think I don't hear Trump saying that there's any expectation other than a ceasefire. I'm not even sure he wants Russia to give back the places they've taken.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, why would he sign a deal to just? I mean, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of like signing a deal with your insurance company to like fix your car, but your whole house burnt down and the car was in the garage. Like, what about my house? What about my house where I'm gonna live at?
So, do we maintain? I'm gonna ask you the same thing I asked Ms. Bobetta earlier. Do we maintain a healthy relationship with the EU behind us?
No, I agree with, I think it was Mo Better. Right now, the United States of America has no allies in the world except for Russia right now. And you can say Israel, but Israel is just like an annex of America. Like, they can't survive without us. So they already like a part of us.
Well, shit, if you want to go by that, most of Europe can't survive. I mean, Canada can't survive without America.
I'm just saying. But also, when you added in Israel, I'm just saying that that's like when you say an ally, it's like you give us something, we got trade, Israel doesn't do anything for us. We just do everything to protect them. We said it's because it's a strategic position in the Middle East and all. That's garbage. That's garbage. We don't need them to know what's going on in the Middle East. We got all the satellite and technology. We don't need them. But the religious aspect keeps us connected to them. But anyway, I'm just saying.
So if we lose the relation, how would it hurt? How would it affect us? Hurt us, benefit us, whatever the case may be. If our relationship with the EU begins to fall apart, how does America feel that? Or do we feel it at all?
Of course we feel it.
How?
We live in a global economy.
True.
There are certain things that we need from other countries, and there's a lot of things that they need from us. But if the rest of the world just says, okay, we can't depend on them, and the first thing, well, not the first thing, but one of the things they're going to do is everybody's going to get off of the U.S. dollar.
So then I'll present it this way. Let's assume we are, two foreign leaders talking. Is what is going on in the United States, because we have been allied with them and to some degree militarily dependent on them for so long, is this an anomaly? Are we in a position where all we have to do is hold out for 4 years? Once this guy is gone, we can get back to things as normal. Do you feel confident, or should we do something else and expect this to go on longer? How do you respond to that?
I feel like if other countries because this is happening so early in his administration.
That's big.
If other countries can make it that 4 years, then they'll say, why should we give back over our allegiance to the United States if we've seen that we can survive without them? And we know that the way their government is set up, the next person could be just as worse, and none of the agreements that we've made with them makes any freaking, it doesn't have any weight to it. Once they figure out they can survive without us, they will. That's just human nature. That's just human nature.
Yeah. So what are the chances that some of these nations may try to acquire atomic weapons? I mean, because once you got an atomic bomb, nobody really wants to fuck with you. North Korea is a perfect example of that. So, I mean, there's plenty of money in Eastern Europe.
I mean, doesn't the EU, Britain, they got...
Well, Britain, you really think Britain would separate from the United States, though? I mean, that's probably our big...
They're already in conversations, man, about what the decoupling from the United States means. They're already in talks, and I know you have to read like international news to understand this stuff. They're already having these conversations. They understand that they can like it's all been kind of and maybe going into Trump's second, but now that he's in and he's doing what he's doing, they understand that they can no longer trust us. They have to fend for themselves now. And I don't know what they're talking about. He's going to go over there to London or Europe, and they're going to tell him to get out of there. No, they're not. They'll welcome him in because their sovereignty is at risk.
Yeah, and that's the thing I think that some of the Trump supporters or Russian supporters do not understand is that the European countries, unlike Trump and MAGA, do not see Russia stopping at the Ukraine. So all of these other nations are afraid that if once the Ukraine falls, he's going to be looking for something else to eat. The Trump supporters don't see it that way. They just think it's, he's pissed off with the Ukraine, maybe trying to join NATO, or maybe because they got biolabs, he's going to soften Ukraine and stop. Nobody in that region believes that.
Right, and also what they don't understand is a lot of the countries in Europe and overseas, period, they have their relationships based on our relationships. Like, they don't like certain countries because America don't like them. Like, they ain't got no problem with China. America is the one with the problem, so they down with America. So now if they decouple from America, guess who's going to be their friend? They on the same continent with them.
Yeah.
They got all these resources they can share. They got cheap labor. The reason why they don't engage with China is because of us.
Does anybody in our country ever stand up, other than Democrats, and challenge Trump on the right? Let's say for instance what you're saying is true. Can we depend on anybody in the Republican Senate, Republican Congress, to step up and say anything?
Mitch McConnell, but he's on his way out the door.
Yeah, he may freeze up in the meeting.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess the answer would be no, but you never know what might come. Look, because there's a lot of Republicans that were on the Ukraine's side.
Right.
Now, a lot of them are going to come out now, like Lindsey Graham, and say, oh, they screwed up. They should be thankful to the same lines that everybody else is on the right wing people are saying.
Marco Rubio, who was present at this meeting, was a big supporter of the Ukraine.
Right, but he was also the one who told them that they had to get out of the White House, and I'm sure that was because Trump said it. First of all, J.D. Vance shouldn't have never been in there talking about shit. It should have been the Secretary of State or the president having a conversation. And J.D. Vance, he advanced all of that shit, talking about you should be saying thank you, and you talking about giving out national security information, talking about. So you're trying to tell me you're not having a problem getting troops to the front line? That's compromising to any war position. Yeah. You do not get up there and tell people, yeah, I'm having a fight with you, but I just ran out of ammo.
Wow.
You don't do that.
I never thought of it from that way, because I did hear him say that, but the strategic disadvantage it could put to Ukraine, that never even came to my thought process.
You're the one in control of the meeting telling him, you shouldn't be out here airing this stuff out in front of the American people. It's your meeting. They're at the White House. Yeah. They could have shut it down from the moment he decided he wasn't going to sign an agreement or whatever. They should have postponed the whole thing and sat down in the room and discussed it. Bringing him out on TV was a ploy. And at the end of the day, all we seen was President Trump come out and say, well, me and Putin was going through the Russia stuff together. Yeah. We were both.
But I will say this. I think that Zelensky kind of wanted this as well, because if Trump and Zelensky, let's say, for instance, Zelensky did not like the deal that Trump offered him, and he decided, no, I want security, or I'm not going to make this deal. Zelensky is going to be saying this to the EU. He'll be on television. You may see him on Al Jazeera or something. The American people are not going to see that as much. They're going to see Trump saying that, Trump's going to control the narrative. I had a phone call with, this guy's not ready for peace. He don't know what the hell he's doing. So I think what Zelensky did is came to the United States to make his point known in front of us, so that Trump was not going to be able to just control the narrative. I think Zelensky knew when he came here, I'm not going to enter no deal where we get no security, but I'm going to probably lead Trump to thinking that, so that I can get my point out to the American people that what he's offering is bullshit. Because you wouldn't have known this as much if he had to disagree with the deal while still over in Europe. It just would not have made as much news.
I don't know that much background. I don't know if he had told them before this little meeting that he wasn't going to sign it, or if he just presented it at this meeting.
Well, Trump has been bragging that they had a deal.
I know, but I'm saying he didn't know what the deal was until he got here.
Then how can they have a deal if you don't? I mean, if Trump's bragging they had a deal.
If you lay out a deal, and me and you think we have I'm saying, we coming to finalize the deal, and then I look at the deal and it has no security agreements, and we done already had conversations saying that I need some security agreements because we know how Trump lies. He probably told them, yeah, no problem, we get you some security agreements. But when he gets here, and now his people are looking over the stuff in the back, and they're like, yo, ain't no agreements in here. That's the only time he's going to have. And I do agree that if he found out, he wanted the opportunity to say it in front of everybody. Right. Because he knows how Trump is. So I don't fault him for that. I mean, that's politics, man. You can't let him get you in there. And how they was trying to talk him down and pointing fingers and telling him how you need us and you ain't got no cards. And the man told him, I'm not playing cards. This is real life.
I saw that.
Dying.
Real quick,
you're not about to bully me.
Real quick before I move it on, because this is obviously going to make worldwide news. They're going to be watching this everywhere. How does this make Zelensky look? Because some folks might suggest he disrespected disrespected the American president in the White House. How does this make him look that he did all of this?
Right now, with the feelings from around the world, from the 30% of MAGA faithfuls, he looks like a strong man, which is what Snuggles almost slipped up and said when he first started.
Really? I'm about to go back and look through that.
We want a strong man. I mean, we want a strong, But to the rest of the world, while he's putting 20%, 25% tariffs on all of these countries and 10% in all of them, he looks like a strong man who walked into the eye of the tiger and told them, you're not about to fuck me. We are at war, and we'll keep on fighting if we have to, with whatever we got. But you're not going to take half of our country's minerals and then walk away from us. We'd rather die on the sword before we allow you to rip us off and have generations and generations of Ukrainians paying for what the America was supposed to be doing anyway, according to the Budapest Memorandum. None of that stuff saying, we're going to help you if you give us all your minerals, or that's not, of course, they're going to pay us back. They was always going to pay us back. You already know we was going to have a whole bunch of business and interest going on in Ukraine for the next couple of decades.
So in other words, Trump is essentially trying to punk him out.
Yeah, it was all about the deal. He talking about we gave them $320 billion, and everybody who knows anything knows it was closer to like 160. Yeah. He's magnifying this stuff, and then he wants to do a $500 billion deal when we 160,
Yeah.
and then he talking about you should be thankful. No, man. I think he's going to be a hero around the world, and I think he's going to get more support from Europe. That he was the only person that went up in there and told them, nah, fuck that.
All right, Dencal, and I kind of agree with that part. Appreciate it, Dencal. Thanks for coming through. All right, good talk. Always tap the screen, folks. I haven't asked you folks to do that. Understand we don't block, ban, or censor anyone, so you're gonna hear opinions on all sides of the aisle on the program. You can be critical of anybody in the comment section, including yours truly. If you enjoy this type of dialogue from all sides of the aisle without any concern of being blocked, banned, or censored by the host, follow the program. We're on YouTube horizontal, YouTube vertical. We are currently also on Instagram live as well. So certainly tap the screen, get the likes of it. Helps out the algorithm, brings in more MAGA, if you will. Going back to the box, go to, I think it's a Sherbert there. I don't know what I'm hitting there. Sometimes the devices can be a bit tricky here, but Zelensky essentially standing his own ground. Zelensky on worldwide television challenging Trump like that. Something you don't normally see any world leader do. I mean, literally a shouting match. They're talking over each other, they interrupted each other. I guess some might argue that Zelensky showed no respect to Trump. Now, my last caller said that might make him look like, a strong man. So we'll talk about that. I'm trying to bring my next guest up. We'll give the box a minute. Real quick, looking in the comments, do want to respond to a super chat. Sean Herbert, I don't know if this is relevant to what we're talking about. You said racism never made any sense to me with how uncritical it is. And all this talk about Putin and Ukraine is just racism towards looking into shit. Racism against opposing beliefs. I don't know if you gotta explain that. I don't see the correlation. I mean, I believe that the Ukrainians were favorable to the Bidens, and Trump did not like that, and that's why Trump doesn't like the Ukraine. I don't think it has anything to do with racism or any of that. I think it's just that Trump holds grudges. Simply put, Trump holds grudges. And if you're favorable to his adversary, he's not going to be favorable to you. Didn't you just see J.D. Vance talking about how Zelensky went to Pennsylvania and was campaigning for the opposition? I think it's that Trump holds grudges. I don't think it has anything to do with racism. I think once you piss Trump off, you piss Trump off. Doesn't matter who you are.
What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come to the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems.
That right there is what my last caller was talking about, giving out their military information, which could have been confidential. He said, right now you guys are having trouble getting people to the front lines. I mean, if you are Russia and you listening to that, like, wow, I didn't know that. It seemed like they had endless soldiers or whatever. Damn, you mean they're getting short? Then maybe we should keep pushing. It does sound like he gave out what could be classified information that could hurt the Ukrainians.
In front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Now, see in the comments, somebody said that's common knowledge and they know that already. I haven't heard it, so I'll leave it at that. I don't see why J.D. Vance should be using that as a talking point. I just don't see it. But you're saying people already know it, so we'll leave it at that. Don't give a dime for Ukraine and walk away. Poland's next or the Baltics. Article 5 invoke World War III satisfied. MAGA, are you less than smart? Shaking my head, says Infinity. Now, breaking down what he's saying is, if you support the notion that we should say fuck the Ukraine, we're not going to give a dime to the Ukrainians, and then all of a sudden Putin wipes out the Ukrainians, he's saying that next it could be Poland or the Baltics that they attack next, which would lead to Article 5, an attack against one is considered an attack against all. So it would lead to Article 5 invoked, and now America, by treaty, has to act. Because there are so many NATO member nations in the region once the Ukraine is down. Most of the rest of them have tried to become members of NATO. And then he says at that point, World War III has been satisfied. He says, MAGA, are you less than smart? Now, I've said this before in the program a few days ago. I think I said it maybe a couple of weeks ago. Under President Trump, and this is where you get to correct me if you believe I'm wrong, and I'll go to the next caller. Under President Trump, if I'm in the European theater, especially in the Eastern European theater, I don't feel confident that the United States will get involved if Article 5 becomes the flavor of the day. I don't feel confident with the way Trump has blamed the Ukraine for the invasion of Russia and the way he's talking about Putin. Putin is not a dictator, but the Ukrainians are. I don't feel confident that if one of the NATO member nations is invaded by Russia, that Trump would answer our call to the Article 5 invoke. I don't feel confident in that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't feel confident in that. He's obviously very favorable to Russia. So if Russia's involved with Poland or Russia's involved with Romania or one of those Far Eastern European nations, I can see Trump saying, this would not have happened if you hadn't have done something wrong. Therefore, you violated any protections under Article 5. I mean, if you're going to say that the Ukrainians started the war, for instance, that could be an example. If you start an unnecessary war, which is what Trump is claiming the Ukrainians did, you've kind of forfeited your Article 5 protections. I don't believe that Trump can be relied upon in that area of conflict in the Eastern European theater. I'm just saying, I don't believe it. So when you say World War III, not necessarily. Not if Trump's, we're not going to get involved in it. I can see that happening. Charles Vaughn says 9/11, September 11 was the first time Article 5 was invoked. That is true. That is true. Thank you, Nicole. Nicole Gooden says we can't rely on Trump. Hopefully we're wrong, but I don't feel confident about that. Going back to the box, we'll continue on with Sherbert, Instagram. For you folks that may want to call in, also, we're on Instagram Live as well. Bringing up my next caller here. If the box on Instagram brings them up, we'll give it a minute, Sherbert, there. There you go. Sherbert, good afternoon.
Howdy, Tim.
Hey, so what do you...
My super chat was a little confusing, but it's not that it is racism. It's that it's the same thought behind racism.
Explain.
You're not looking at anything. What? Racism never made sense to me, because just because I'm white doesn't mean I'm better than anyone else. It literally means nothing.
Okay.
If somebody is going to be hating on Ukraine because they got invaded, well, it's the same cognitive dissonance of, well, they deserved it because X, Y, and Z. When you ask Snugs why, he gave you, the 2 plus 2, or you said 2 plus 2 equals 4, but he's taking you out in outer space.
Right.
They never have an answer. They never think about it, why such and such happens. It's just, Trump good, everyone else sucks.
Yeah. And that's what I really believe that the attitude that MAGA has toward the Ukraine is based exactly on what you're saying, is that Trump doesn't like them. If Trump said they bad, therefore they're bad.
Doesn't make any damn sense.
Well, if you think he's the best president we've ever had, you're going to follow him, right?
Well, I told you last time, they're going to drink that fucking Kool-Aid, and then we're going to be on the wrong side of World War III. We're going to be protecting them at this point.
Wait a minute. Wait. You said we're going to be protecting Putin?
Yeah. I think we're going that way.
Protecting Putin from who?
Everyone. Because we're going to get, the war's going to start. Trump's going to say, no, he's my best friend. We got to protect him. And all this oil money out there.
Yeah, but if all of a sudden Russia gets involved in a conflict and it comes down to whether we join them or not, he obviously has to get the approval of Congress. Do you think the Republican Congress would use our assets to back Russia?
No power anymore?
Huh?
Congress has any power now?
Technically they do. They just don't seem to have a voice.
I mean, things are going to have to get real bad before they take back their voice. We're going to have at least 2 years of shit going real wrong. And if that war pops off in between then, I don't trust Mike Johnson to actually, help us out and do the right thing.
I mean, do they not realize that their jobs and their historical legacies are on the line as well? I mean, if Trump does well, Congress, the Republican Congress goes down in history as doing well. If he does something awful, they go down in history as awful.
Well, when you rewrite history literally all the time, what does it matter?
You really think that we really?
I would love to be wrong. I would super love to be wrong. But I'm looking at past actions and what they're saying now, and I don't have any confidence in our system right now to handle the barrage of Trump.
And you can't think of any Republican senators or Congress at all that you can depend on to do what's right if Trump does wrong. Not one.
No.
They don't have any version of Christian Cinema or Joe Manchin. Not one. Damn.
Have you seen any? You tell me, Tim. Has there been one that you've seen?
You ain't.
It's lockstep all the way down. And then MAGA talks about how much that the Democrats are doing all this horrible shit when there is literally zero evidence of almost any of it. Yeah, we stumble, we trip, we do a couple of awkward things. But
Wait. I'll give
$100 billion from somebody else that got invaded. Democrats ain't doing shit.
But I'll give MAGA credit. Democrats fucked up the border. You do agree that.
Sure. But it's always been fucked up. Stop blaming it on the Democrats.
No, it got exceptionally worse under the Biden administration. Because remember Obama.
Don't play the pandemic.
Oh no. But remember, Obama was the quote unquote deporter in chief. Biden was just letting people in willy nilly.
Well, Tim, I would love if you could help me out just a little bit. Can you pull up Biden's deportation numbers?
They're really bad. You mean deportation? Because the amount of immigrants that came in this country under Biden are really bad. I haven't seen the deportation numbers.
He deported more. I heard that he deported more. I haven't truly looked into it, so I don't know. But if you pull it up right now, I'm pretty sure I heard Biden deported more people than even Obama did.
But even
so
if
more people came in,
hold on, exactly. So if you point out that Biden deported more people than Obama, that's almost like a liberal talking point because it doesn't point out the fact that a whole lot more people came in, so there was a whole lot more people available to deport. So just pointing out how many people got deported under Biden doesn't tell the tale because I think 2 or 3 times as many people came in under him.
What are they supposed to do about that, Tim? They put a bill up and then they shot it down.
I think that he could have did it.
It's like blaming Ukraine for getting invaded.
No, he could have did the. I mean, Trump has secured the border, and he done it on his own. I mean, Biden could have passed an executive order and secured that a lot more. I mean,
but that's not how our system works. That's not how the country works. You have to have Congress do their fucking jobs instead of giving everything up for Trump.
Then what you do?
Sorry, I didn't slip there.
Yeah, but then what you do is you do an executive order that shows you're trying to secure the border. If Congress shoots it down, then you go on record as you officially tried to do it. I mean, Biden just stood back. Well, if Congress don't do nothing, I ain't gonna do nothing either. So it made him look hapless.
True.
Yeah.
But there's also a proper way to do it. And then he also got us back from the pandemic faster than any other country in literally the world. Maybe we were doing some other shit instead of worrying about the border.
Yeah. I'm not gonna give Trump any credit for the pandemic at all. You got my opinion. I'm agreeing with you on that. But I do believe Trump did a significantly better job on the border. And at a time when Americans was pissed off at what was going on the border. When Biden came in with the pandemic, America was not happy with what was going on with COVID. So.
Wait, but this is also all culture.
What do you mean?
Can you at least admit that? Like everything they bring up, the trans, the border, every one of their talking points, egg prices, it's all culture topics. It's all culture wars.
Yeah. Well, absolutely.
That helps the people.
I'll say absolutely with the trends and the price of eggs because the price of eggs have not went down at all under Trump and MAGA's totally silent about it.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's suddenly
exactly the same thing.
Yeah, it's suddenly something they don't seem to care about it. They got plenty of time to wait all of a sudden. So price of eggs, yes, but the border. I even had liberals in liberal cities like, you got to do something about this. So the border, like I said, I give Trump credit for the border.
I live in South Texas. I see Mexican people all the time. It's not a big deal. Everyone's just being racist against Mexicans right now. I'm not cool with racism, man. I don't care who it is and who it's for. Shut the fuck up. It's a culture war. It's going to happen forever unless we literally build a mile-long moat with all those barbed wire shit killing more people. It's not going to change with the fucking executive orders. We need people there. We need the censors. We need the fentanyl detectors. We need all this shit. And yet they're just going to say, well, no, Biden fucked up. He let everyone in.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not saying that the culture war stuff is not legit. I do know people complain about a whole lot of shit that in reality does nothing to affect their life. Like the DEI complaints, as you brought up the transgender in the wrong bathrooms and all that shit. At the end of the day, Trump can do everything you want him to do in those areas, and it won't make a damn bit of a difference in your life. It just makes you feel better that somewhere out there, some boy can't beat a girl in sports. It ain't got nothing to do with your kids, nothing to do with your friends. You don't know nobody it's happening to, but it makes you feel great that somebody out in space ain't got to deal with it. So, yeah, I agree with you there.
People are going to start dying from people being attacked from these culture wars, from all of the federal assistance being taken away, from just policies, Ukrainians dying, the people in Gaza dying, not getting any goddamn food. How many people have to start dying before their racism, and I'm saying it's not actually racism, but their idea of racism that, no, only America matters, Trump is God King. When does anything else matter? When it's not just about them and their fucking culture wars.
I don't have an answer for that because I was going to say, in a lot of people, oftentimes, all of this shit is irrelevant until it starts happening to them specifically. Like the federal firings. A lot of them people getting fired are MAGA. MAGA don't give a damn about them getting fired. It doesn't affect them until you are the voter that is also getting fired. Then it matters. But they can watch MAGA get fired on TV all damn day and they don't care. Like, hey, he's saving, he's cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. Just find another job. I had to do it before. They don't care.
But you also notice that whenever MAGA reacts or Snugs or whoever, they have so much vitriol in their voice about that they have to be right. I'm totally willing to admit that I could be wrong or I'm not educated enough on a certain topic. And then I'll go listen to several people about that topic, literally both sides, to then figure out who's talking shit.
Well said. Unfortunately,
I don't ever hear that coming back from the other side.
I mean, I'm assuming there's some liberals that do that, but you are correct. We've become so tribalistic that folks are not really concerned with doing what's best. They're concerned with winning. That's why I used a description in one of my monologues, the difference between winning and success. Winning is getting things done and make you happy. Success is getting things done that actually benefits you and changes things in your life. Right now, Trump is winning. In terms of success, nothing. I mean, when you look at winning is getting rid of USAID or, like I said, transgender issues, getting rid of all of that's winning. But when you look at how much you got to pay for gas, for eggs, for groceries, inflation, what's actually happening in your life, he ain't been successful at changing any of that. There's no success. It's just all winning. It's just making you happy it's happening. But it ain't benefiting your life or improving your life at all.
I totally agree with you. And it's the same thing with SNAP, Medicaid, and Medicare being cut here in a minute. People are going to start dying. There's all these people talking about how, my daughter is a drug addict, so I took her 3 children in, and I can only afford to feed them because of SNAP, because I already work a full-time job and taking care of these kids, and I can't afford rent. And then they're going to go, you don't need that food, even though you're doing the right thing. And what J.D. Vance literally asked America to do is, hey, have grandma and grandpa help out some more.
Yeah.
They're going to not be able to eat, so it doesn't matter. Whatever.
So what are you saying when you...
fix a broken hip. Yeah, whatever.
I'm hearing you speak, and damn it almost sounds like you're suggesting we voted for cruelty.
100%. I mean, there's no way around that.
Why?
They wanted to win. They wanted that cruelty. It's the same thing as racism, man. I'm going to keep saying that because it doesn't make any sense. They're just angry to be angry. It's like the alcoholic fucking father that just beats the shit out of you. And like, but you voted for this by being my child. Like, what are you talking about? You're the asshole here.
Yeah. That's bad. That's bad. I got to move it on, Sherbert, but voting for cruelty. Wow.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for coming through. Looking in the comments real quick, red states are the poorest states. That is true, Charles Vaughn. You know something real quick in regards to that, because, you know, Trump wants to take the educational system back to states' rights. Get rid of the Department of Education, leave it up to the states. If the states have to pay for their own education, it is likely the poorest states are going to have the poorest education. So, I mean, no federal funding for education in these states. How does that work? I don't know how that's going to work out. But I know he does want to get rid of the Department of Education and leave it up to the states. Dennis Calhoun, thank you for your support, says Representative Don Bacon, a Republican from Nebraska, scolded President Trump over the Oval Office tirade against Ukrainian President Zelensky. I'm interested in reading that. I wasn't right on air, so I haven't seen that yet. On Friday, calling it a bad day for America's foreign policy. So if that's the case, Don Bacon, a congressman, Don Bacon of Nebraska, who is a Republican. So apparently there is somebody who stood up and said something. You may not hear from Don Bacon anymore because he criticized Trump. Remember, Joe Rogan, #1 podcaster, criticized Elon Musk's statement about Social Security recipients being 150 years old, and suddenly Joe Rogan is the third biggest podcaster. He's not #1 anymore. He lost a lot of MAGA by saying that. Graded. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. I believe it says graded there. I want to make sure I didn't miss the super chat. Don't give a dime for Ukraine. I saw that one. Graded, we'll give it a moment to let the box come up. I don't know what I'm doing here. America is lost, says Guts. Well, I hope we become found. I don't know if we're lost. I think we're divided. I don't think America's lost. I think everybody knows what they want for America and the direction we should take. It's just we all have a different opinion of how that should be. We're not lost. We're divided. I may have to reset and take another. I may have to go to the next caller. My last caller doesn't seem to be coming up. Will G says, MAGA ain't shit. He says, MAGA really just thinks everything in the U.S. is interconnected with is just because Trump didn't like NAFTA, that's true, and created the USMCA. They took it away, wondering who made the deal. MAGA is dumb. Damn. Like I said, I don't want to call all the MAGA dumb. I know some MAGA that I don't believe they're all dumb, they're all racist or any of that. I don't necessarily submit to that. But I will say this. Will makes a good point about NAFTA and all the different deals. I mention this all the time, is that your word is your bond. Your word is all you have. And okay, let's say Trump gets in there and he points out bad deals America has entered and suggests we're not going to continue doing this shit because this deal that was implemented by Obama or Biden or Carter or whoever the hell, it's a bad deal for America, and I'm here to do what's right for America. The point I make all the time is your word is your bond. You don't make a deal and then break it because at the time it was a bad deal. If you enter into a deal, you honor the damn deal. It's as simple as that. I always use the example of you go purchase a car and the wife of the owner is there. She sells you a car $5,000 below sticker price. Great deal. You go home, you got a great car. All of a sudden, her husband shows up the next day with a tow truck at your house. You know, my wife made a bad deal. I want my car back. Would you ever do business with them again? So, okay, even if the Iran deal, for instance, that Obama made with Iran, that Trump thought was a bad deal, he got out of it. Even if you think it's a bad deal, we've signed on the dotted line. You don't just break deals because the last guy made a dumb deal. Because it leads to the obvious question, why the hell would I make a deal with America if the next president could just say it was a dumb deal and break it? I mean, he literally showed the world that our word is only as good as the president you're making it with. The next guy might just break it. Why would you enter into any deal with the United States? If the next guy is just gonna come along and say, that was a dumb deal he made, we're breaking it now. So I didn't favor him doing that, but Trump views us as a superpower with all the military might from a standpoint of what the hell can they do about it? That's why I always use the mob boss mentality. I can do whatever the hell I want. Ain't nothing they can do. What you gonna do about it? What you gonna do about it? That's the way he is running the country like that. I can just move and shake anywhere I want. It ain't like they can challenge us. That's what it seems like he's doing. Looking in the comments, but please, Democrats keep ignoring that. It's better if you never get it. Aether, I don't quite get what you're saying there. Guts, I don't have any. Okay, you guys are talking among each other. Let me go back to the next caller, if I can. Going to the box, Travelman. Good evening. Welcome to the program. So, did you happen to see Zelensky going back with Trump?
How you doing, man?
Stevie D, appreciate it. Doing good.
That was embarrassing.
For who?
For us, for America.
Explain.
They went gangster on Zelensky. See, so it seems as though Trump and what's his name, JD.
Yeah.
You know, they always want to say things about people, but then when you say something back to them, then MAGA world gets upset. You know.
Yeah.
First of all, they tried to extort $500 billion from the country.
Yeah, because it wasn't nowhere near that much money. You're right. They did try to extort. Yeah, they did try to extort. Yeah.
You had the guy you had the prime minister, you had Macron came over. Trump said $300 billion. He said, no, that's not right.
Yep.
Right? So everybody knows a lie. Then the UK prime minister came, and he said $300 billion. And he stopped him then, once again. And then today, what did he say? $300 billion.
Yeah. Well, if you say it enough, you know how they say, if you say it enough.
As I've said before, Trump will repeat. That's what he does. Okay? We are in the USA reality TV show right now. And every day is something different.
You know, I cannot agree with you more. When this conversation, because I always keep one of the news channels playing in the car on XM, or I have my tablet going or something. I had to pull over. I'm like, are they really going to? I pulled over. I put it on, I think, CNN. I brought up my tablet, brought up the video feed of Fox, because I wanted to see how I'm like, is this really being covered live? I was amazed. How does this make Zelensky look, though?
Yeah, well, you see what it is? He didn't back down. You can't back. You have to stand your ground. I mean, I didn't see where he was being disrespectful. If anything, I saw JD, who was a vice president, being disrespectful to the president of a sovereign country that's in a war.
In what way? In what manner?
When he came back to talk, you should be thanking the president. You haven't said thank you since you've been in the Oval Office.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Basically, they want the adulation. Okay? Yeah. They want the adulation. And they have been in a war for 3 years.
Yeah.
Trump has basically sided with Putin. That's it right there.
I don't think that's I don't think that's up for debate at all. You're right. They are.
Not up for debate at all. You know, and so you come in and we're supposed to do this deal, which you know not thrilled about it anyway. But you know we're gonna do the mineral deal, okay? And then you come in and they're having a discussion, and then all of a sudden it's escalated. And you think, so you want the president of this country to sit here and take verbal abuse from JD and Trump. You know, they're just, man, you could not go to Hollywood, get the best screenwriters in Hollywood, and ask them to write this.
And Trump definitely said that too. Trump was like, "This is gonna make for really good TV." Trump is a media genius. Trump is a media genius. He knew, oh shit, I'm a part of something that may not be in my best interest, but it's gonna make huge ratings.
See, and you go back and take a look at this. All right. At one point, Ukrainians, they were holding their own against Russia. They was giving it to them
without our help.
No.
Oh.
Not without our help. Now, let me get to where I'm going. They were doing all right. They were holding on, whatever. And then the wonderful Congress of ours decided, hey, we're gonna withhold funds. We're gonna tie it to the border bill. They blew that out to gluteus maximus, and then it was so bad that after they ditched the border bill, they couldn't even pass their own bill. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, when they tried to pass a bill, funding bill for Russia, not for Russia, but for Israel and for Ukraine, and they couldn't even pass their own bill, and they couldn't pass it. See, so for 6 months, they sat on that money for 6 months. During that time, Russia regrouped, and now Ukraine was over there. They're counting, what days they can fire shells and what days they can't fire shells. That's how bad it got. So Russia's making progress now.
Okay.
And then after we sat on it for 6 months, and now we finally give them the money, and they started, getting the funds and everything, getting the weapon system. Okay, because 60 to 70% of the money that was programmed for them went to Raytheon and the other defense contractors and weapons manufacturers. So a lot of that money stayed in the United States. And the guys that work in the line, working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, they got fat paychecks.
Yeah.
Because and then we sent the weapon systems, whatever they needed over there. We didn't send them everything that we should have. That's what I do have that against Biden. We didn't send what we should have.
So what more would you have wanted Biden to send them?
There was some other weapon system they could have sent. Now I don't know exactly what they are.
Yeah, but some folks would suggest if we had stepped up the weapons to the Ukraine, it could have escalated the Russian response. Whereas maybe even getting into the atomic weapons.
Escalated to what? Look here. We, the United States, right, without putting a boot on the ground, decimated
Russia.
the Russian army.
Yep.
They're bringing the Chinese, they're bringing North Koreans in. They're buying weapons from Iran and North Korea.
You know, it's interesting you say that because J.D. Vance was talking about how fucked up the Ukraine has been in this war, and he responded by saying, he said, Russia has lost 700,000 people as well. He said something like, maybe that's what Putin is telling you. He was like, but Russia has lost 700,000 people as well.
Okay.
So,
I try to, watch my language when I'm out here on here with anything. But Ukraine was in Russia's ass.
Yeah.
Okay? They were there. Not only that, they chased the Russian fleet out of the Black Sea. They sunk the command ships. There's a lot of the Russian.
But here is the MAGA pushback, and many would suggest this has some legitimacy to it. Do you just continue the war forever? I mean, is United States under Biden, under Harris, just going to continue forever sending Ukrainians weapons as long as they'll keep fighting? Where this goes on for years and years and years? Or do we go with what Trump is doing, where he's trying to somehow, some way negotiate an end to the conflict?
Yeah, but he's trying to make Ukraine negotiate from a weakened position. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the last time Trump was in office, didn't he also go and negotiate with another with a group of fighters and then include the other group?
You talking about over in Afghanistan?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
He negotiated with the Taliban, but he didn't bring the Afghans in. Now he's negotiating with Russia, and he's not bringing in the Ukrainians, who are a much better group of fighters who are defending their country. They're standing up for it, and you got this clown over here trying to de-neuter him.
Yeah.
Trying to neuter him.
Well, you said neuter. Well, because Trump is negotiating from the standpoint of what's best for America, which is
No, he's not.
You don't think so? Let me explain why. You can.
Hold on. If Trump was negotiating what was better for America, we wouldn't have all this chaos we got going on right now.
Okay. Depends on who you ask. But the reason why I said it is that he just wants the war to end. He's not looking at it from the best standpoint of both countries involved. Like with Afghanistan, He just wanted us to leave Afghanistan. He didn't give a damn if it was good for the Afghanistan people or not. It's good for the United States if this damn war ends. So that's his biggest concern. Same thing with the Ukraine and Russian conflict. Hey, it's good for America if we don't have to keep sending them money. So we're going to do whatever it takes to make it end, even if it's in the worst interest of whoever. We just want it over with.
Yeah, but see, the Russian economy was tanking. Okay, number one.
Right.
So, like I'm saying, if you gave them now Ukraine is in Russia. They in Russia. Ukraine got Russian land. If you can fire missiles into Ukraine, Ukraine should be able to fire missiles into Russia, and that's what we didn't allow them to do. You know, and now with this little tit for tat bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Now with this little tit for tat bullshit, now we have pulled financing or support for their electric grid that we was working on them with. They just did that today. You know, I just saw it. It was done through USA.
Didn't know that. Okay.
What we have is a very vindictive leader. That's what we have.
Yeah, he certainly, well, when you say vindictive, I mean, I'll agree Trump believes in revenge. I think there's no denying that if you cross him or you do something you think is wrong, he will take revenge on you. I don't think that's even up for debate.
And if you don't kowtow to him, then he's gonna come after you. You know, ever since they went over there and slid that document across there and say, hey, you need to sign this, and you're gonna give us $500 billion of your minerals. And when Zelensky said, well, I can't do that, I gotta see if that's constitutional. Ever since, and he said that Trump was operating in a misinformation.
Yeah.
Level,
Yeah.
you know?
That pissed him off. That pissed him off.
Trump went off the deep end, but see, Trump can call him a dictator and can say all kinds of things about him, but you can't say nothing back about Trump.
Well,
see,
but I can't. But you got to give Trump credit. That's what's been working for him. I mean, he's doing that to the Republicans, and that's exactly what's happening. He can say whatever the hell he wants about them, and they don't say nothing back.
He snatched the Republican spine, and then he reached down and he did what he said that women like for him to do. He reached down and grabbed their balls, and he denutted them.
Damn.
That's exactly what he did.
Damn.
That's exactly what he did.
So then I'll ask you the question I asked my last caller. Is there anyone amongst the Republican Party, Senate, Congress, not one person that you can depend on that might counter him if they think he's doing something wrong?
You got Lisa Murkowski that may do something, and that's about it.
So
but as far as men, no. The House of Representatives is a comedy show ran by clowns. The Senate has a little bit more decorum, but they're not doing anything either. All of them are scared to cross Trump because they're scared of MAGA. Right.
What happens? Let me before I let you go, because listening to what you're saying, he don't rip the balls and all of these other graphic terms. What happens in the midterms?
At the rate they're going, you're probably going to see they'll probably get decimated at the rate they're going.
And go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying if the Democrats dominate in the midterms, is Trump going to sit back idly and be a lame duck president? Is he going to sit back like that with no power?
If the Democrats take control, you're looking at the third impeachment.
No.
because Trump he's going to do something, if he hasn't already, that's illegal. And they're going to impeach him.
Yeah. I actually believe, I said it on previous programs, I do believe, you're right. I mean, everything from getting rid of birthright citizenship on down, Trump is willing to push the law. Because he's already been told by several judges that what you're doing is unconstitutional.
Yeah, but he don't care. Look at what he's doing everybody's on the government because, everybody get on the government ass until they need the government. Okay?
Yeah.
Well, like I said before, you got 3 million government workers providing services to 340 million people. But he's disrupting all of that. He's screwing over the veterans. Now he's talking about dipping down into Medicaid. You know, how they gonna do this BS and then pass the type of budget that they pass?
But what if he cut? But what if they fire all these people, and Trump does get the economy under control, and we do okay, inflation comes down? Is he not a hero? If he can show that I got rid of 100,000 federal employees and look, we're doing great, would you not view him as a hero at that point?
It ain't gonna happen.
Why not?
Because look at what he's doing. Okay, number one, he fired all the people that deal with the avian flu. Number one. Okay. Number two, he has no control over gas prices. So you don't know if that's gonna go up or come down.
Yeah.
And inflation right now, I think, is at 2.5%. So he may be able to get that under control. But other than that, what is he doing? What is he doing to advance the economy?
Well, now, even though some folks might suggest we're drilling as much as we possibly can, he continues to suggest that we can drill more, which would, in his opinion, bring down the cost of fuel, which could lead to the cost of everything, a lot of other things coming down. Do you see any?
Well,
go ahead.
Okay, well, that might be true. Well, okay, so once you do all this drilling, where are you going to process it? Because the refineries are already running at 94 to 95% capacity. And not only that, the oil companies don't want to drill anymore. They're good where they're at.
You sure about that?
Yes, I'm very. But the refineries are at 94 to 95%. So they drill more. Where they gonna refine it at?
Could they build more refineries?
That's 20 years.
All right. Well, he seemed okay. And I can't speak on that. That's way above my knowledge. But he seemed to keep saying that it can be done. So, in other words, he's just selling wolf tickets.
Well, he also said, "Hey, I'm gonna put tariffs on everybody."
Yeah,
that
is true.
We are going into isolationist territory right now. Okay, he wants to put tariffs on everybody. One more thing before we go. He has screwed the farmers twice. And they still voting for him.
And they still would. The farmers would definitely. If we had an election today, Trump would still win the majority of the farmer vote. Because like I said, until it happens to each individual one of them specifically, they're not voting for a liberal. I got to move it on, Travelman, though.
All right, but hey, take care.
Always. Thank you. Appreciate it. Moving on with the program. Dorjam Bennett, stop crying. Trump won. Let the man work, says Dorjam. Says Biden couldn't speak or stay awake past noon and didn't hear anyone crying about that. I disagree. I think after June 27th, the debate performance of Biden, you had plenty of liberals crying out. I mean, wasn't it suggested that Nancy Pelosi and company got together and told Biden he needed to step down? So we'll go back to the box. I wanted to hear a clip.
Second, what Trump and his administration have been saying about Ukraine and Russia doesn't make much sense. It's almost as if they have the two leaders mixed up, publicly calling Zelensky a dictator, blaming Ukraine for the war, discussing all the casualties in Russia and alleged war crimes by Ukraine's army, ruling out NATO membership for Ukraine before negotiations started, and at the UN on Monday, the U.S. voting with Russia against a resolution condemning Russia's invasion of Ukraine. It feels very WTF. But the administration says this is how Trump gets Russia to the table and to make a deal. But it is so bass-ackwards that it fuels the feeling, fictive or fickle fact, that Trump has some weird affinity for this Putin guy. After all, he threatens all our friends, right? Today, the 25% tariff on the EU, we'll talk about it tonight, but there go all my secret ingredients from Italy. Harsh on Canada.
This isn't quite the clip I wanted to play. He actually does a good job pointing out when Trump started not liking the Ukrainians. And it was after a phone call. That's not in this clip. I should have had it queued up. But going back to the box, because he points out that if you look on the timeline, there was a time when Trump was in favor of the Ukrainians, thinking favorably of them, and then suddenly he went the other way. And it's basically Trump not liking people that are standing up to him. He points it out, and he points it out. The perfect phone call didn't count. Yeah, the perfect phone call. He points it out. He does a good job on it. It was on the other day. That's Cuomo of News and Nation. Looking in the comments, though, MAGA is two-faced, says Will, says they get screwed, but they won't care. They can get that golden shower and find it refreshing. I don't know anybody who would find a golden shower refreshing. Well, maybe I know one person. Anyway, but finding a golden shower refreshing. Wow. But he is saying that, and like I said, some of this shit, until it happens to the person specifically, directly, they're not going to care about it. Going back to the box, let me see if I can get up to about 50,000. I haven't asked you guys to tap the screen. Tap the screen, helps out the program. If I can get about a minute of good tapping, it would certainly help on TikTok. Feel free to smash that like button on YouTube, horizontal, YouTube vertical. Sean Herbert says the Republicans wouldn't stop crying that they won in 2020. So I don't know what this guy is talking about. Yeah, you're right, because the individual said, look, Trump won, stop crying, the liberal tears and all of this stuff. And what Sean is pointing out is that in 2020, they weren't saying that about Biden. Biden won, stop crying. And when they were saying that Biden stole the election and all of that stuff. But very similar. Now, I say it all the time on the program is that the liberals are not going through anything or behaving any different to some degree than how the Trump supporters were behaving in 2024 years ago. They weren't taking that loss any better than people would suggest the liberals are taking this loss. So that's how politics works. It just flips like that sometimes. Going back to the box, go to Keisha Boyd. Good evening. Welcome to the program. When passing through YouTube, it always gives you a like. I'm an independent Trump voter, but I like the way you see both sides. Your point comes through loud and clear that way. Thank you for that accolade there, Lars Bambi. And we certainly appreciate any Trump supporters, independents that come through the program. This is not liberal-only forum. Feel free to state your case, regardless of what your politics are, up to and including telling the host you don't know shit what you're talking about. We entertain all opinions. We'll give it a moment to reset, because apparently my next caller is not coming through. And we'll move on. Trump slept as much as I. He had to have J.D. Vance to speak for him today. No, Mr. Moment, I think J.D. Vance jumped in to protect his boy, but Trump showed that he could definitely speak for himself. J.D. Vance spoke up, but yeah, Trump got in there and definitely started challenging him. I'm trying to see where that begins, because J.D. Vance was talking, but yeah, Trump ain't gonna let you insult him like that. And he thought that Zelensky was not being very appreciative of this deal that he was giving him. And I don't think the deal was that great.
This is the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country.
Watch when Trump comes in. Zelensky is going to tell him, like, if you guys keep doing the wrong thing, America's eventually going to be hurting too. And Trump takes offense to that.
Let's start from the beginning. Sure. First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what
you're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
Feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't play cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with...
I mean, just to see, this is just, it is like literally content gold. You don't see any politician interrupting Trump. That is like a definite no-no. You don't see that anywhere. I don't even think Melania interrupts Trump. To see that going on, I wish the cameraman could have turned around so we could see the reporter. This room is full of reporters at this time. I really wish we could have saw the faces of everybody else in the room.
With World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you. Far more than a lot of people say they should have.
Have you said thank you once this entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, you said thank you. You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you see that.
All right, going back to the box. Good or bad? Just in the comments. I want to see good or bad. How does this make Zelensky look in your opinion? Good or bad? I mean, whether it hurt him in terms of his respect, it hurt him in terms of how he's viewed worldwide, or do you think it helped him? Good or bad? How does this make him look? Because it's going to be seen by leaders throughout Europe and, for the most part, all over the world. They're going to see what Zelensky did in the White House with President Trump. Good or bad? How does it make him look in your opinion? J.D. Vance set him up, says Charles Vaughn. Really? You think so? Let me go back to the box. To Keisha Bowie. Don't know what is happening with the box, so we'll try to make it work. To Keisha, good evening.
I've never been so proud of President Zelensky in all my life. I think let me tell you what he did. He showed that the great Oz is really the man hiding behind the curtain. He brought Trump down 15 notches. What he let Trump know was, everybody else bow down to you, but I'm not finna king tut, nor turn my bottom to you and kiss yours. I was proud of President Zelensky, and I think he did a fantastic job.
Really?
Sometimes you gotta cut that giant down at the knee. Sometimes you gotta hurt his ego. Sometimes you gotta do like Rocket did. You gotta cut the Russian to know he ain't a machine, he a man.
Wow.
I'm proud.
So then I gotta ask the obvious question: what is going to be? And I really spelled that bad. What's going to be the? Because Trump's going to have some sort of response to him treating him like that.
Whoop to do.
Well,
ain't nobody scared of Trump but the Republicans and MAGA. Now, Germany already came out and said all the stuff they finna get ready to send to Ukraine. You better believe that right now, while y'all stop talking about the United States is weak. Because I'm going to tell you why. Because our president is alienating all our allies, and he is taking the enemies, making them his allies. He don't care nothing about the United States. I don't care what you say else. He ain't trying to get no deal for no United States. Trump is doing what he want to do for him and Putin. I've never seen so many people love Vladimir Putin as they do now that Trump does. This is ridiculous how this world is going.
So
it's being Armageddon. It's being set up. Watch what I tell you.
So when Trump said that Zelensky is flirting with World War III, you do see a possibility of that, but you're looking at it from Trump.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's a really bold statement to make. Let me ask you, so if we do have some kind of major outbreak like that, who's on what side? I mean, we used to have the Axis and the Allies. Are you saying that it's going to be America with Russia?
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, think about it. If it's America, Russia, and go ahead.
Let me tell you something else. If y'all think y'all can trust Donald Trump, who sat up and called that man a dictator, who lied and said that man started that war, then you have lost your ever-loving mind. I'm willing to bet that none of our allies trust the United States of America at this point.
But is it a matter of not trusting America, or is it just, look, we got to wait 4 years until this guy's gone?
No, listen, you can't trust a country who has a leader who's over the country. Because whatever goes on in the country is due to that leader. So they looking at the whole country as, hey, we can't trust the United States right now. And that's just the bottom line. But I wanted to correct you on something too, because I get sick of you saying it. It's really making my butt burn. I went on.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Listen, I don't pay for subscription, but I had to go on and subscribe to you so I can tell you this. The only reason Donald Trump's border numbers were low was because of COVID and because of the thing that they had to put in at that time. Because right before then, he was complaining about caravans coming over. I want you to cut the crap. Give him credit, but give him credit and tell why the numbers were low. Stop it.
Okay, wait a minute. First of all, I'm talking about right now. When you look at the fact that... Hold on. When you look at the fact that under Trump, border crossings have dropped, I don't know, 80, 90%?
Here's some. Border crossings were dropping when Biden left. Before Biden left, when he implemented his plan, border crossing were dropping then. I don't know what kind of information you look up, but you ain't looking up the right stuff. Go to the border site and get the numbers and then come back and tell me that same thing.
You making
the numbers were already dropping, baby.
Takesha, you're making it sound like the border numbers did not make any change at all from Biden to Trump. They just were already dropping in.
How many people have Trump deported already? How many people have he deported?
Well, it ain't about him deporting people. It's the fact is, I'm about to answer the question. The fact is, because of Trump's policies, less people are even trying to enter to begin with. They're not coming.
Sir, if you believe that, then I'm done with you.
You don't believe that?
You think so? You think them people scared of Donald Trump?
What is the purpose of trying to come when you know they got the whole military down there? Even the Mexican military is down there now because of Trump's threats to them.
Stop it.
Come on now. You sure you ain't just hating Trump?
Listen to me. I want you to stop that lie too. That same deal that Mexico gave Trump was the same damn deal they gave Biden. Stop it, Harrison.
Stop it. You sure you ain't just hating Trump? You hating...
Absolutely pot. No, because you sit up and you watch the news that don't give you the real information. That deal was already under Biden, but the thing was they gave Biden 15,000 troops. Or was it 15? Whatever it was, they gave Trump less than what they gave Biden. Those people
Takesha, they were not on the border under Biden's term.
Oh my God, Hanson.
You're telling me Mexicans had...
What's wrong with you?
I'm just looking at what's...
Look it up. Go and look it up.
Are you really trying to tell me that Trump has done nothing? Hold on, hang on. I got 4 fucking screens staring at me. I don't have time to look it up. 5 screens if I count the damn laptop. Are you telling me that under Trump he hasn't done anything better for the border than Biden? Is that what I'm hearing?
What I'm saying to you is this. I want you to stop acting like Biden didn't do anything for the border.
I didn't say he didn't do anything.
Like you said, hold on. Because you keep saying he waited too late. His first day in office, baby, he put up a border bill. They rejected it. See, you don't know that because you never did go look up.
Takesha.
You never did go get the proof.
Takesha.
How many times we got to tell you to go look?
Takesha.
Before you actually go look.
Trump implementing by executive order, canceling the asylum claims that you can come up. That alone did more to protect the border than anything Biden done.
Okay, Hanson, let me ask you this. Do you remember when that senator said that Biden could do an executive order? And then the other senator got on the floor and said he know that that's not law, that that's not constitutional.
I just saw Trump do it.
No, but you think Trump doing anything that's under the Constitution?
I don't think the change.
Let's just be for real.
I think you just.
You think the stuff that he doing is covered by the Constitution?
No, I agree that some of the things like the birthright citizenship is not constitutional, but I do believe that Biden could have done a hell of a lot more with stopping folks from just being able to walk in willy-nilly and claim asylum with no legitimate reason to claim asylum.
I'm going to say this again. The reason that people thought the border was wide open because the Republicans kept saying it. And if somebody tell me the club is open till 2, I'm getting there at 1:30. So guess what? If they had been telling that lie on national TV that the border is wide open, all them folks would have piled up coming over here when they heard the border was wide open. Stop it.
Keisha, we gonna have to agree to disagree because I think
We don't
that.
always agree to disagree because you don't never be right.
Damn you.
Never right. You're never right.
I'm really telling you. I'm gonna write you.
Wait a minute, Handsome. J.D. Vance was all upset today, and I figured it out. You know, he's a never Trump guy. You know, he said he was a never Trump guy.
Mm-hmm.
I
know the song. I know the song. Yeah.
Sitting there next to Trump, a never Trump guy. But he was upset because what he really wanted was him to hurry up and do that deal. Because I saw him looking at that couch.
Oh my God. Oh my
God. And it was taking everything in him to stay calm. So he got irate because he was ready to get with the couch. And it was taking too long.
Oh
That's
my
why he got upset.
God.
Yeah. That's why he got upset.
I'm too old for this much fucking laughing. Listen, at the end of the day, you're wrong on the border, by the way. You need to get a prescription for that TDS. But I will tell you that J.D. Vance looked like a Trump simp in this meeting. I'll give you that part.
Let me tell you something else. If anybody thought that what happened today in that Oval Office looked presidential, then they have lost their mind. It looked really bad. And then the reporter asking him why he doesn't have a suit on, and you had Elon Musk in the Oval Office standing next to Trump, looking like he was ready to jump on a skateboard and save the world. You don't do that. What does it matter if that man wears a suit or not? That man over there fighting the whole war.
Yeah.
He ain't sitting in the office calling shots. He is on the front line with his people. Why would he put on a suit?
Yeah. I don't. Now that point we agree on 110% is that you can't make fun of this man coming dressed like that while he's fighting a war, and then Elon Musk is walking around with this big T-shirt on that says tech support. Yeah, I don't. You got me on that.
They're putting boogers on the Oval Office desk and telling the president he ain't the president to get out. I mean, come on now, let's be for real. I'm sick of the one-sided media. It's getting on my nerve. That's why they're picking who they want in the room now so that they can come out and lie and say what really happened, what really didn't. I wish that what happened today was not on the national stage, but I'm kind of glad it was.
No, that needed to be. Yeah, that needed to be.
What it showed today was that if you don't bow down, you will be disrespected by Donald Trump.
Now, Dennis Calhoun said, will our children go fight for Putin? Do you see any point in time where our soldiers will be fighting on behalf of the Russians?
You know what else? It wouldn't shock me. And I'm being as honest as I can be. It would not shock me because Trump seems like he is so in love with Vladimir Putin. This is ridiculous. You gonna sit up and not even sign a paper where you know this man started this war. The United States gonna say that he didn't. What does that say about the United States, Handsome? Who are we for? Are we for our allies or are we for who Trump want to be for? This is getting ridiculous. But like I said, it's setting up Armageddon. I keep telling you. The Bible is being fulfilled. Y'all just ain't paying attention.
What about, before I move it on from, what about the notion that, listen, Trump is trying something new. We've been fighting with Russia for 60 years, and it's about time we have a leader in there that tries a different approach so we're not always on the cusp of war. How do you respond to folks who... Go ahead.
You're not trying anything new when you pissing off all your allies to get your enemy close to you. I don't believe in keep your enemies closer because the closer they are, the quicker they can stay after you. Trump is just in the pocket of Putin, and Putin got something on Trump, and Trump know that. And you'll see, I'm telling you, Handsome.
I can only hope you're wrong.
I know y'all don't read the Bible, but I promise you it's in there. Everything going on is in there. Y'all gonna get the shock of y'all life. And then you're going to come back to your program and say, Takesha told us.
I can only hope you're wrong. I got to move it on, but I saw you in the comments saying, what is wrong? I was queuing up a video, so sometimes I got the sound. I'm literally a one-man band. I got 4 folks staring at me. Yeah. Huh?
I'm about sick of you. I'm sick of you. I said, let me pay for this subscription so I can get up here and tell him about himself.
Well, I appreciate the support. Thank you. And you certainly did live up to telling me about myself. Thank you for coming through.
You're welcome, sweetie.
I always appreciate your support. Thank you. All right, moving on. Thank you. Moving on with the program, and I don't my little space heater don't took out my damn circuit. Give it a minute. I may have my monitor off until that shit resets. Okay, so moving on with the program, I'll go ahead and bring up Gen X. If I think he was in there. We aren't always on the cusp of war with Russia. Trump just brought out. No, I don't know about that. I mean, what was the Cold War about? We have always been at odds with them. Are you there, Gen X? Good evening.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Not much at all, man. Did you happen to see the spat? I'm putting emphasis on spat between Trump and Putin today, or Trump and Zelensky.
Oh yeah, I loved it. I thought that was fantastic.
Fantastic for who?
For Trump.
How so?
Well, because JD was just pointing some stuff out to Zelensky. Zelensky tried to post up and puff his chest out, and Trump put his ass in check.
I don't know. I didn't see. How did Trump put him in check? I'm trying to. You got to explain that.
So, he told them like it was. Motherfucker, you ain't holding none of the cards.
Yeah.
The only thing you're going to do is push World War III. You're only going to get a whole lot of your people killed, and you ain't running shit without us. Nothing but your mouth.
Damn.
Nothing.
So, but here's what I don't get. What are they supposed to do? I mean, just take. Basically, Trump is saying, "I'm offering you this. It's kind of a take it or leave it deal, and it doesn't offer any security." Should Zelensky get involved with this deal if the United States does not offer any security? Because what they're wondering about. Okay, let's have this ceasefire. But if Putin decides to violate this ceasefire a month or two from now, if the United States offers no security at all, what good is this deal? That's what Zelensky was trying to get across. Should he enter a deal with no U.S. security?
All right, then Zelensky needs to take the better alternative. Oh, wait, there is no better alternative. Like Trump said, he doesn't have a card to play. I'm dealing you the cards, take the motherfucker and hope for the best.
Well,
that's all you can do.
Well, no, you say you should have took the better alternative. Why not spend that rare earth minerals on somebody that might give you some security?
Do it. And he gave him that option. He told him do that.
So
Zelensky's the one that called Trump. The Ukrainians called the Trump administration.
Right.
They wanted a deal. They wanted to cut a deal. They wanted to come to Washington. They wanted to do everything that had been proposed to them. And then he gets there and he wants to post up on J.D. Vance.
Well, J.D. Vance, when is the last time you even seen J.D. Vance? I hate to ask, but why was he even there? I mean, J.D., you don't hear from J.D. I'm surprised Elon Musk wasn't there.
I don't know what Musk was doing.
Yeah, I mean, J.D. Vance, I mean, does he still even have respect? You don't see J.D. Vance in shit anymore. Like, why are you here telling us you should be thanking us?
Hey, I want to point something out real quick. Your last guest that was on.
The Honorable Takesha. The Honorable Takesha.
The Honorable Takesha. Because it's not just her. A lot of people go with that bullshit narrative about how Elon's kid was telling Trump, "You're not the president."
I've been looking. You know, I'll interrupt and say this. I have not been able to find that. I've heard people say he said "fuck off" or something too. I haven't been able to verify that.
He was standing in front of the desk when he said it, but then they showed the wide-angle view of it, and there's a reporter sitting to Trump's right on his knee, and if you look at it, the whole picture, like the media likes to do, they like to shrink it out and just show the kid running his mouth with a reporter you can't see, and it looks like he's saying it to Trump. But you can see in the big picture when the camera is zoomed out, when it's widened out, when it's panned, you can see the kid is clearly talking to the reporter who had said something to Trump. Because Trump's almost smirking about it.
So the kid told the reporter to F off?
Basically, yeah. That he did, yeah.
I mean, that don't make the kid look any better, to be honest with you.
No, it doesn't, but he wasn't, they like to say he was saying that to Trump, which would have been just as funny, in my opinion.
Okay.
But
The reality is he wasn't. He was talking to the reporter.
And you know my TikTok audience is taking you apart because they like, oh, so you need the camera to zoom out to prove your narrative. And they said, stop lying. You see him wiping boogers on the presidential desk, Oval Office daycare.
That's why I come on Instagram, because I don't use my TikTok account just because your viewers are a bunch of punk bitch ass.
Oh, come on. Listen, you got...
They report me. If I say something they don't agree with, if my perspective is different, all they can do is cry and report me. Report my Instagram account, you bunch of... I'm not going to say it. Not going to disrespect your account. But I feel some kind of way about a lot of your viewers.
Okay. Well, listen, I got viewers from all sides of the aisle, so that does happen. I mean, hell, I get reported sometimes. It is what it is. It's hard. It can be a challenge running an uncensored program with folks, like I said, left of Bernie Sanders, so I'm having dinner with Q. So we got them all in one place. So it does happen. You can certainly come on Instagram anytime you want, and you'll be brought up here accordingly. So at the end of the day, though, go ahead.
I hate when they do that to you, too. I'm not just being selfish about it. When they report you and they shut your channel down, bro, that's just bullshit, man. You're not doing anything but giving two sides of the story. You're pretty, for the most part, you're unbiased. I'll give you that. And when you get reported, man, it just rubs me the wrong way. I'm there screaming at my telephone. You know what I mean?
Well, I appreciate the love and support, man. I do appreciate that. So, but at the end of the day, you think that Zelensky came out of this looking weaker?
Oh, yeah. Even his own ambassador was crying. Did you see her? She had her face tucked in her hand. She was like, oh, this clown here.
Well, maybe she was seeing a different clown than you thought. Could have been somebody else in the room.
But I will say this. And I never thought I would say I agree with Takesha, of all people. If she ain't making me a sandwich, I got nothing for her. But I will agree with her about this. For that reporter to say, well, how come you're not wearing a suit? That was bullshit. Yeah. Because Elon's in there, looking like she said he's on his way to the skate park. Yeah. You know what I mean? All right, so okay, we're coming around. You can see a little bit of what Takesha is saying. I'll consider that a win. Yeah, no, I agree with her there. That was the first thing I thought. I was like, how the hell are you going to tell this man he's not wearing a suit when Elon Musk, who's kicking up all kinds of dust, looking like he should be rolling around, sporting John Gotti suits, is walking around with a Vans t-shirt and some baggy pants.
Yeah, and he's wearing a MAGA hat in the Oval Office, wearing a hat inside. So, is it possible? Now, this is where you and I probably gonna separate, because I'm gonna ask you this, but you can answer it any way you want. Is it possible that there's a lot of folks that are just simply afraid to challenge Elon or President Trump? Like you said, would never ask him that question because maybe they're scared as a reporter. If I ask some shit like this, I'll never get invited in here again.
Oh, absolutely. I think so. Yeah.
How does that make Trump look that people are scared like that, scared of free speech?
I don't think it reflects on him at all. That reflects on the individual. I would ask him if I was in there. I don't give a fuck. You want to kick me out? Kick me out. Fuck you.
Yeah, but you're assuming that MAGA will leave it at that. You get on there and say, fuck Trump. I mean, I assume you're going to probably get a few threats in your email box.
Oh, they threaten all they want. I'm not. Man, I'm too old for that shit. You know what I mean? I don't give a crap.
All right. Appreciate it, Gen X. I do got to move it on. You okay over there, man?
Yeah, I'm good, brother.
All right. I just see you. Obviously, you're in the hospital right now, so I appreciate you coming through, man. Though, thanks for the support as always. Feel free to come in anytime. Thank you.
Yep, brother. Much love. Have a good weekend.
You too. All right. You know how to trap out?
Yep, I sure do.
Thank you. All right, moving on with the program. By the way, I do want to respond to a couple super chats. Dora Jam Bennett says, "Can't be both Russia before and going to war with them. Also, take your pick." I don't quite get with that. Can't be both Russia BF. What does the BF stand for in Dora Jam? You got me baffled with that acronym. I don't get what you're saying there. Dora Jam also says, so how did all those people get here then? They walked. You're talking about the border. But people, I got Takesha that's suggesting that the border was not any more secure under Trump than Biden. I vehemently disagree with that. But she tore me a new one for saying it. She thinks that I'm wrong for saying it, but I do believe Trump has been significantly better at managing the border security than Biden. And I said that before Trump even got elected, that I believe that if he won, he would be much better at securing the border than Biden, because I believe he would break the law to make the border secure, even if it meant up to and including harming folks that enter the country illegally. Whether if he could order them being shot, he's talking about putting devices and barbed wire in the Rio Grande, whatever it took. He doesn't care. So he's going to be better because he's not even looking at it from a standpoint of humanity. If they got to die, they got to die, whatever the case may be. So I definitely believe that if you're going to do, draconian shit like that, you're going to beat Biden every time. Dorjim, I didn't get to ask this. Ask her who paid for the buses, planes, and hotels. You're not going to get the answer you want totally, because you're going to say the hotels in sanctuary cities were paid for by liberals, but I'm going to bring them. You start talking about buses and planes. Texas Governor Greg Abbott paid for buses to bust him up north. You were okay with that. So it ain't just the liberals that paid for the buses. The right did it too, just to kick them out of their areas. Texas Governor Greg Abbott paid for dozens of buses to bus migrants to Chicago and these sanctuary cities where now Trump's borders are. Tom Homan is pissed off that these cities won't cooperate and give up these immigrants. Like, well, you can't send them here. If you wanted to deport them, you should have waited till you got elected and you would have had them in your cities, but you don't send them to Chicago. You knew this was a sanctuary city. Why would you send them here? So we'll see what happens with that. I think Tom Homan will get his way because a lot of the policies of sanctuary cities are illegal. Federal government or federal law trumps state and city law. So I think he will eventually get his way on that. We'll see. Real quick in the comments before we go to the next caller. I think I saw MAGA reacts in there. We'll go to said caller. Good evening, MAGA reacts. Welcome to the program.
Yo.
Hey,
What's going on, man?
I'm in the trenches as usual. Did you see the interview at all today?
Hell yeah, I saw it live.
Now, I'm assuming you think that Trump looked better in that?
I mean, no, but I think it's all JD Vance's fucking fault.
How? How do you blame JD Vance? What did JD Vance do that's wrong?
Well, Trump knows. First of all, Trump doesn't take it personally. Trump doesn't care that
Really?
fucking Zelensky was saying. Let me finish. Trump didn't care what Zelensky was saying. And, he knows Zelensky is in a war. He's got his point of view, and they're going to negotiate all the details once they get behind closed doors. So he's letting Zelensky go, and then J.D. Vance comes out of nowhere, after, Trump's cool letting him go for 20 minutes, J.D. Vance comes out of nowhere from the left saying he's being disrespectful, that he shouldn't be thankful, they should say thank you. So J.D. Vance starts some shit, and now Trump has to back him up. And, it was all started by JD. I mean, if you watch it in order and not just the clips, jumping around, clipping it like you did, everything's cool until fucking JD Vance opens his mouth.
Yeah, here's where the idea that Trump didn't take it personal. I mean, I'm sure there's a ton of folks around the world that think that Zelensky came across looking very strong in that video. The idea that Trump didn't take that personally sounds crazy to me. I'm pretty sure that having that man arguing like that with them in the White House, in your place, he's in your house doing that. He's accusing you of not being, there's no way Trump didn't take that personal.
Well, he wasn't talking about Trump, though. He was just talking about his own shit. And it was only after J.D. Vance jumped in and said he was being disrespectful to Trump, where Trump just jumped in. I was like, started fighting and arguing with him. I mean, watch it in order. Watch the whole thing. I had to sit there and watch it again in 1.5 speed because I kind of missed the beginning. I saw starting with the J.D. Vance part. But once I rewinded to the beginning, there's a whole 20 minutes of, Trump saying his shit and Zelensky still saying his shit, not agreeing with him, but Trump didn't give a fuck.
I don't know what you saw. I don't know what you saw because I didn't see any of what you're talking about.
If you watch in order, if you watch if you clip it and you jump around like you've been jumping around.
I didn't. No. When I started my monologue, I featured the whole video, 7-8 minutes long. I featured the whole thing. I jumped around as the show's been going on, but in the beginning, I featured the whole thing. And no, ain't no jumping around.
Yeah,
I mean,
watch it again. Everything is cool until JD Vance opens his mouth. That's where all the fighting starts.
no. What?
Hold
on.
Best friends or anything. But
No,
it wasn't this or anything until JD Vance opened his mouth.
Well, JD Vance opening his mouth, it certainly was part of the contention. But where it broke off is when Zelensky started indicating that if you keep doing what you're doing, eventually America's going to feel this too. And Trump was like, "No, you can't say that." And then that's when they started going back and forth. It wasn't because of JD Vance. It was because
that was after JD Vance opened his mouth.
yeah, but it was because of what Zelensky said, where Trump got in and said, "No, you can't say that." And Zelensky basically was saying, "Yes, I can say that." That's where it wasn't JD Vance.
Zelensky
It was
said that because JD Vance said that bullshit about him having to conscript people and how bad he's doing. And watch it again. Trust me, watch it again. Everything is cool. Trump's saying his shit. Zelensky's not agreeing with him and saying his own shit. But Trump doesn't say anything there. He's just moving on. Until fucking
you and I disagree.
Jumps in there.
You and I disagree with that. I really believe it would. Okay, we'll take a quick look at it.
Trying to prevent the destruction of your country.
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to.
That's what he's pissed off about. He ain't pissed off about JD Vance. He pissed off about Zelensky saying something he don't agree with.
No, but again, he was letting it go until JD jumped in there and started pointing out some of this shit.
I think he was letting it go until.
It's all after. Go back before JD started talking, and Trump is not even paying attention to Zelensky. Also, that shit was with the suit. It was some reporter that had nothing to do with Trump.
Okay.
Trump even went to Zelensky afterwards. He's like, I thought he's on your side. What's he giving you? I don't give a fuck how you're dressed.
Okay.
He literally said that. I thought this guy was on your side. What's he giving you a hard time about how you're dressed?
Okay, fair, but I don't know. I didn't see that part, so I don't know what he said. What the clothing thing. Aaron in the comments says Zelensky looked like a liberal Democrat waiting for a handout, waiting for free shit with an attitude. Is that how you saw it?
No. But Zelensky's he's talking tough, but one of the main reasons he's doing so good is because of our support. And Zelensky, he's right to feel the way he feels. And I think Trump understood that, and for the most part, let it go until.
Let me ask it to you. Let me ask it to you this way: Do you not see some legitimacy in why Zelensky doesn't want to take this deal with us not offering any security?
No, I understand why he sees it, but he's a little short-sighted. We have to defend the land. Him giving us that medal is security on its own. Because that medal's right there on Russia's border. That means we're going to be there on Russia's border. And, it gives us a reason to protect Ukraine. And, it's how we're going to get the medal if Russia takes over the country. That alone is security right there. The deal itself is security without saying it's security. Because how are we going to get it if it's all on Russia's border, part of it is in Russia or in the land they took? How are we going to, and it's right there, it's in the center of the action and gives America a legit reason to be there, protect that area without saying.
Yeah, but that's that could just be in that area too there, MAGA reacts. What if he tries to take other portions of the country that are nowhere near where the minerals are coming out at?
It's very hard to get around the minerals.
What makes you say something like that?
Because Kyiv and the capital is on the west side, and the stuff is in the middle to the east side. Look at the map. They were showing the map.
You can do all sorts of
different metals are.
You can do all sorts of air attacks and things like that are nowhere. Ukraine is a really big country, so there are all sorts of ways you can hit this country that have nothing to do with where the minerals are coming out at.
You're still risking hitting Americans because there's still going to be Americans traveling between Kyiv to the metal. They have.
Not if you warn them first. I mean, you could warn them, like, you know, when things are getting hot between us, we will deliberately avoid any area that Americans are working in, but understand right now travel throughout the Ukraine is not advised because we got a problem and we may be bombing this country. So if, you know, the area you're in, they can give guarantees to America, we won't touch that area, but the rest of this country is fair game. You don't see any way that could happen.
No, because guess what? Like, we're not going to get the medals. If Russia fucks with Ukraine, then how are we going to get the medals? And it's going to be Russia's medals. It's good. They're going to cut us off from transporting it out of there because it still has to be transported out of there.
Why do you? Okay, hold on. Let's say it this way. Let's say we're talking about a state like Texas, a fairly large landmass. Let's say the metals are being taken out of in the El Paso area. You could hit Dallas and Houston all damn day without affecting those metals over in El Paso. And you could tell the folks that are taking the metals out, right now travel across the state is not safe because we may be engaging in activity in the Dallas and Eastern Texas region. But yet you can still keep getting to, why are you saying it can't happen in Ukraine?
Because it's not Texas. It's so small. You're not going to hit Kyiv and skip where all the metals at.
I think
you don't know where you're going to have Americans at.
I think
where they're going to build their bases. Plus, like, this is what I hate about the left. They're always talking what ifs. Like, they have a fucking crystal ball or time machine. I'm talking about what we have on the ground right now. And
I don't think you realize how large the Ukraine is. I think you think the Ukraine, we're not talking about Rhode Island. The Ukraine is a big nation. It's not anywhere near as small as you're saying.
Oh, it's nowhere near as big as what you're saying. I mean, it's not small, I agree with you, but it's not big either. And again, like, you have Americans there, you're good, because Americans are going to be everywhere mining that metal. Plus, it gives us, more important, it gives us reason to protect Ukraine. Like, you could ask Taiwan how we've been protecting them, and you could ask the Saudis how we've been protecting them. Taiwan gives us ships, Saudis gives us oil, and no one's touched them. So guess what? If Ukraine's going to be giving us metal, they're going to be very well protected. I even heard that, I think Gonda is offering us mineral rights. So, like, you could have our minerals, just come help us with this fucking fight with our neighbors, because I think they're in a situation right now, too. So they're offering us metal and shit for our protection. Because they know it comes with protection. And again, this is just the starting point. This is just the start of negotiations. You don't know where it's going to lead. And if he doesn't like the deal at the end, then fuck it. He could renege on the deal too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I just think the part where we're talking about, I want to show you this. I was able to bring this up while you're talking if my damn computer works, because I really believe that your opinion on Ukraine. Here is a map. I don't know if it shows up. That's the United States. That dark blue. That's how big the Ukraine is. That area. You see that area there? That is how big the Ukraine is compared to the United States. So you're telling me you can't attack one side of that when it being that big? That's several states.
Still, he's still risking a war with America.
No, you're not.
As a reason to.
No, you're not. Look at that map. Looking at that map, it goes from somewhere probably as far over as damn near Nebraska or Kansas, all the way over to the eastern side of Michigan. You telling me you couldn't strike Michigan without interfering with things in Kansas?
It's all connected. Again, you're probably right. I don't think it's that good of a point. You're probably right, but I don't think it's gonna happen because it's still, you still got Americans there, and that's still not that big. I mean,
that is huge. In terms of Kyiv or some city, the national city, the capital of Ukraine, if those minerals are, 700-800 miles away, you could destroy Kyiv all day and night without interfering with what they're doing. This country is big, man. You're making it sound like this is a tiny-ass country. Like it's a suburb. This is a big-ass country.
I understand, but this deal will have Americans everywhere. They're not gonna...
Why? Why would they be everywhere?
This is an excuse to protect Ukraine, just like we protect Taiwan. And I mean, look at Taiwan and look at the Saudis. For that oil we get from the Saudis, they've been safe this entire time. And same with Taiwan. They've been safe from China just because they give us fucking chips. Yeah. So why wouldn't Ukraine be safe as we get metal from them? And the other thing that you guys said, that the bill is only like 160, 180 mil. trust me, by the time this is done, the bill's going to be way over like 500 billion.
Why would it be way over?
Building the place.
Based on what?
Well, it's already at like 160.
We're not still sending weapons to the Ukraine.
We still got to rebuild Ukraine. We still got to do a lot of shit there because that money's supposed to be going toward rebuilding Ukraine just as much as it is to repay us back. And again, this is all like future money. I mean,
has Trump even committed? Has Trump even committed to the United States helping rebuild Ukraine? Is that even part of what he's going to do?
Yeah, in his mind, that's part of the deal.
Well, I don't think.
In fact, that's what he said the fund is going to be used for. He said that several times in that fucking sitting. That the money was going to be. He also said that we're going to have the French there. We're going to have a bunch of allies there too, doing business.
He also said Zelensky is a dictator. The man says a lot of shit.
Yeah, and by the way, when he didn't forget that he said it, he was just joking around. I was like, "Did I say that?"
Why?
I said it, but
I gotta ask you
play
this.
it again.
You know what I'm about to ask you.
Fucking.
You know what I'm about to ask you, right? Why the fuck is he always joking? Is he? We didn't vote a comedian.
No, he's not.
You just said he was joking.
Not always. I mean, he's always joking, but he wasn't joking when he said that he was a dictator, but he was joking when he was called out on it. Like, I know I said it, but look at the fucking thing. He was smirking when he said, "Oh, did I really say that, Trinidad?"
So he meant it when he called Zelensky a dictator, but then when he got in front of the media and pretended like he didn't know he said it, you said he was joking at that point.
No, he didn't. He was just joking. Like,
how do you know this shit?
It's like when you're gonna fight with your girl and you call her a bitch. It's like, and then later on you make up. You're like, "Did I call you a bitch? I didn't call you a bitch." And you're like joking around. It's like, I know I called you a bitch, but come on, we gotta move on here.
Oh my god!
He's like, I know I called him a dictator, but we gotta get business done here. We gotta get this deal done. And, you can see it on his face that he's fucking joking.
No, you cannot see it on his face. No, you cannot.
Of him saying, when he gets confronted about calling him a dictator. Play that clip. I bet you he's smirking on his face.
I don't read Trump jokes in comedy because due to smirks and shit. I don't know. Why are you joking so much? People are taking this shit seriously. Why is he joking?
What is he supposed to do? What is he supposed to say that when he gets confronted about calling him?
MAGA, people, MAGA, people are dying. This ain't the time to joke. People are actually being killed. Why are you joking?
I mean, he's trying to bully this man into negotiating a peace deal. I mean,
wait. You say what? You say what? What'd you say? What? He's trying to do what?
He's trying to bully Zelensky into taking this peace deal, and he's...
All right, now we getting somewhere. He was trying to bully him, and Zelensky doesn't like to be bullied. I think we're getting somewhere now.
He's trying to bully him into peace.
No, he's trying to bully him into taking a bullshit deal. I gotta move it on, but I'm gonna put this on the screen just for you, because this... This reminds me every time you and I talk. You may not be old enough to remember this, but... This is a toy from the 1970s. It's called a sit and spin. You would sit on it and spin around. Every time I talk to you, you make me feel like I'm on a sit and spin. So I gotta move it on, though. I appreciate you coming through.
One last thing.
Real quick.
Elon wasn't there. Elon's not trying to be president. Elon's only there for government efficiency, and this has nothing to do with government efficiency or finances.
I don't know what the
hell. It's
hell.
all diplomacy. That's why Elon wasn't there.
Yeah, I don't know what the
hell. Elon's on Joe Rogan today. He just released a video.
I actually saw that when I was getting prepared for the show, bringing up my clips. I did see that. I'm dying. It's like an hour and something long. I haven't watched it. I'm dying to see that.
It's 3 hours.
Maybe he'll help Joe Rogan get his ratings back, because Joe Rogan criticized this. People living to 150 getting Social Security, and it hurt Joe Rogan's ratings, so Joe Rogan is trying to save his own ass.
I don't know about all that. I don't know what rating we're talking about. Are we talking about just podcasts or YouTube videos, or what are we talking about here?
I believe people started unsubscribing.
Again, it's one of those things where I only heard from you, and I haven't gotten it from what I've seen.
Just Google Joe Rogan ratings drop, and you'll get it from any article you need. His ratings drop. I gotta move it on though, man.
It's probably true.
All right, appreciate it.
Take care.
You too. All right, looking in the comments real quick. wanted to make sure I didn't miss a super chat. Are we now a military of mercenaries for hire? Damn, I hope not, Dennis. I really hope not. And who would, well, you know, to some degree, possibly. I mean, you could pay for U.S. protection, and I believe you could do that before Trump, but under Trump, cash is king. If you put money in Trump's hand, anything can happen. You could be Elon Musk, and the only reason Elon Musk is where he is at is because he put money in Trump's hand. The only reason. He ain't been vetted enough. Look, he's a successful businessman. Well, so is Bill Gates. So is George Soros. You wouldn't have gave him the job because he put 400 or 300 million or something in his campaign. If Elon Musk had been a strong Trump supporter and only donated $2 million to Trump's campaign, which is a hell of a donation still, he wouldn't be where he's at. He bought his way in. I don't think that there's any other way to look at that. Now, if you believe he's a patriot, he's doing what's best for the country, fine. Maybe. I don't agree with all of that, but I'm simply saying, without donating that kind of money to Trump, you would have never got a chance to find out how good he was at what he wanted to do anyway. He wouldn't be there. He bought his way in. Looking in the comments, and Trump's transactional. Trump is a transactional president. So if you put enough money in his hand, transactions can happen. Going back to the bots, we'll go to Nicole again. I tried her before, and I think it timed out. Good evening, Nicole. Welcome to the program. I'm assuming you heard a few things you might disagree with.
Oh my God. What the fuck am I listening to?
You're listening to America's Best and Brightest.
You gotta be fucking joking. Okay, first of all, the hypocrisy of how them can't do shit and Republicans is a fucking green flag or whatever the fuck they do. Barack was doing a couple of executive orders and they damn near all had fucking babies. This little orange motherfucker come in and he writes executive orders for the last couple of weeks and they can't do nothing but put him down his throat. Like, I don't understand it. And then, not to mention, they turn around and pass this bill a few days ago. They have totally fucked everyone.
What bill? Wait, what bill are you talking about? Which bill?
They did the blueprint for their bill.
The one that did not have no tax on tips in it.
Yeah. It didn't have shit in there for the little people.
Yeah.
It had a big ass tax break for the rich. It's cutting Medicare. It's cutting Medicaid. It's cutting everything. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Before I go there, do you know how much money Mr. Elon has received from the government in subsidies? He's made $35 billion or 38 from contracts or whatever else that he's taken away from farmers and all other kind of people that need that money.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta be fucking kidding. He ain't cutting any of his money. He ain't touched anything that he is a part of. And they trying to kick Verizon out from the FAA. I cannot believe it. This is the worst TV show I've ever
Wait. You said they're trying to kick. You talking about Verizon, the phone company?
Verizon is running the FAA system on copper. And, you know, they want to kick them out and switch over. First of all, that's going to be a shit show because they want to bring in Elon, Starlink, or whatever he has. And they're trying to recruit new FAA workers.
Well, the thing about it is, a lot of folks, including myself, see what Elon is doing to some degree as a conflict of interest. You got some noise in the background. Can you hear me?
No, they see what he's doing. He's in his pockets bigger.
Yeah, that's where the conflict of interest is. You're going to be the one deciding where government waste is, while you're also getting a ton of money from the government. I mean, it leaves a lot of room open for bad shit to happen.
But they said they weren't going to touch Medicare and Medicaid.
Have they officially touched it?
Yes, it's in the bill. They're supposed to cut, I don't know if it's 800,000. They put up some numbers. There's definitely slashed in it. And then if you're going to put education back on the states, I live in Naperville. There's a lot of rich people there. So we pay our taxes. They pay their taxes. Their education is going to be fine. Chicago's going to be fucked.
Yeah. So why do you believe, if what you're saying is true, the support for Trump is still strong? It's wavered a little bit, but I certainly believe that most MAGA.
A lot of fuck around and find out after this.
Yeah, but they're not going to vote for Kamala.
No, they ain't not. They ain't gonna have shit to vote for. They ain't gonna probably have their own two votes. I mean, at this point, I was watching this shit. It's hilarious at this point. But fuck around and find out. I'm watching it every night to see new stories of Republicans that found out that they get cut. This shit is crazy.
I don't know.
And why does it take for you to have that happen to you for you to realize that this man was not on your side?
I think most MAGA, though, Nicole, still think that Trump is on their side. It's just the ones that have been directly affected by what you're talking about.
But guess what? Here's the other thing. So those MAGA people that probably got laid off, and Democrats as well, how they gonna get unemployment when ain't nobody in the office? How you gonna get your Social Security benefits when there's nobody in the office? How you gonna get these things? You're not gonna get any unemployment, and you're not gonna get any of your SSI. So what's gonna happen?
Well, maybe they didn't think a few things through.
Yeah, they didn't think they actually was gonna be unemployed either.
Yeah. Now, Alter Ego asked an interesting question. He says, "Are there a lot of MAGA in Chicago?" Now, you're in DuPage County. You're not in Chicago. You're in the suburb. In your area, though, there's a lot of MAGA in your area. You think?
My area is Republican.
Yeah.
But there's Democrats there. It's increased since I've been there. I've been there since 2015. It's become more liberal, but it's not liberal. We still have Republican representatives and stuff like that. So no.
Yeah. A lot of people hear. Yeah, a lot of people hear a liberal city like Chicago or New York or something, and they just think that everybody there leans left. But yeah, you start getting in the suburbs and you get outside of the major city, and it starts going red real quick.
Yeah, I had Trump signs next to my house. I was appalled. That shit was crazy. But
did you know the neighbor? Did you know the people that had the Trump sign?
yeah, a few of them. Yeah, a few. I did. But here's the funny part too with that. At the end of the day, it's gonna be a lot of haves and have-nots. There's gonna be way more have-nots. So at the end of the day, people ain't really realizing how they fucked themselves because we ain't even a year in yet.
Shit, we ain't even 2 months in yet.
Right, we're not. And it's bad because people don't see it. And then they talking about World War III. This dude is the freaking Antichrist.
Whoa, what the? Where are you getting that from?
He is. He's the dumbest president we've ever had.
No. Wait, Nicole, you do realize Trump is the wealthiest president we've ever had. He's only the second guy to have a second term after losing. I mean, he's breaking records. Why would make you say he's dumb?
He has a five-word vocabulary. Greatly. He has he regurgitates the same words over and over again. He thinks everything is big and beautiful. He thinks everything should have his name on it. This is such fucking remedial bullshit. Like, he doesn't even have real policy. Only thing he cares about is money. So you come out with a $5 million gold card.
But wait a minute.
Okay, so
hold on. If Trump sells citizenship, $5 million gold card, is it not possible that could really benefit the U.S. economy? That's $5 million for one person, and you know when that one person comes, they're not going to be on the taxpayer dough. How is that a bad thing?
No, it's not, but he's basically selling citizenship. And first of all, you're discriminating. You're leaving out the regular people, the people that probably been on the fucking wait list for the last 20 years. So you can talk that, first of all, who is going to pay for this shit? I bet you it's going to be a whole bunch of cartels. I bet you it's going to be a whole lot of Russian oligarchs. I bet it's going to be a bunch of people that don't mean us any good. So who's paying $5 million to come that way? If I'm a rich person or I'm an Elon or whoever, I'm gonna give me a fucking green card. What the fuck I'm gonna waste my money paying $5 billion to come here for what?
Because you don't have to wait. That's why you're gonna pay the $5 million. You don't have to wait. You're gonna skip the line.
Just fly over and stay
So, but Trump is getting rid of that.
Yeah, to brown and black people.
So what are you saying? He's racist? What are you saying? He's racist?
Clearly, absolutely.
For my audience at home, now my viewing audience think you have a severe case of TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome. So what's making you say?
Not. I wasn't too mad. I was like, okay, maybe he gonna go in and be kind of similar to what he was, but maybe better the first time. He is fucking 2.0 worse as fuck. Like, for real. You all don't understand, like, what he's doing. He's getting rid of government, so there is no one to oppose him. He's not a king. He's a president. He doesn't even give a fuck about the Constitution. All of these things Biden wouldn't have been able to do, Barack wouldn't have been able to do, Hillary, anybody that was Democrat would not have been able to do any of this.
But do you believe that? But when you talk about the Democrats, do you believe that if Kamala Harris was in there, she would have found as much waste, fraud, and abuse as the Trump administration has found?
No, but I would have rather kept that shit than this bullshit.
What has he done that's so bad?
I was never a fan of hers. But at the same time, I knew he was going to be worse.
What has he done in your, I mean, he's only been here 5 or 6 weeks. What has he done that's so bad?
He lies about everything. Somebody that would get on national TV in front of the whole world and basically suck off Putin and do Zelensky like that in front of the world, it shows that we are totally unreliable. Unreliable. It's bad enough that he's known for lying, but unreliable. If I say, Tim, I got you, if you go across the street and they jump you, I got you, and then they jump you, and I turn around. No, my bad. You give me money. You give me your resources. You give me whatever I need, and then you go across the street and get jumped, and I turn around and walk the other way.
Yeah.
What kind of person or what kind of people would line up with you after that?
Yeah.
Who would line up with you? And he thinks that Putin is on his side, and Putin's not on his side. He's just using him.
Well, I mean, they could be forming some kind of alliance in the background, but you're saying that Putin can't be trusted.
Oh, absolutely. And when have we ever aligned with Russia or the USSR? Never.
Yeah. Well, World War II. We've never aligned with the Soviet Union, but we did align with Russia during World War II.
At this point, we doing more than aligning. We giving head. We doing everything but what we supposed to be doing at this point. It's fucking bullshit. I can't even understand. Like, I can't stop watching TV. I watch Fox and CNN. I go back and forth, MSNBC. And it's just such bullshit. Then they had Stephen A. last night on Hannity.
Yeah.
You saw that?
No, I didn't see him on Hannity. I watch him on news. Yeah, Stephen A. has gotten really big into politics. I be watching him a lot. I didn't see him on Hannity last night, though.
Yeah, he was on Hannity, and Hannity was saying, are you going to run? Because he was kind of leading. The problem with the fucking Democrats is they are soft as shit. They don't fight. They don't do nothing. They think that running the same points is where it's at, and it's not. But he went in on their ass. He was like, no, I'm not running. But he was like, maybe if he gave some BS reason why he would. And Hannity was like, I would love to talk to you every night. He was like, no, I can't deal with you every night. But they was joking with each other. But that said something. He said, the fact that I'm leading in the polls and I'm not even fucking running, he was like, it's something fucking. He said, I'm not even qualified. That's how fucked up it is.
So you want to go against Michelle Obama's when they go low, we go high. You don't agree with that?
Oh yeah, that shit's over.
Jasmine Crockett, AOC.
Going high has not. I mean, that worked for Barack and his wife because they were so educated and well thought out. They could cut you up easily without even using a cuss word. This one right here, he calls everybody names. Everything is a joke, and you just said that. Why is everything a joke? When have you known our president to be a fucking comedian?
He's a different.
Serious shit. This is not a joke.
He's a different type of. He's definitely a different type of leader, but he won the popular vote, so America likes it. He's what America wants.
People have got kicked out of Congress, Senate, all types of stuff for being all kind of different things, and now everybody on his side is damn near alt-right, and everybody's okay with it.
And that is the way it is.
The dude that got kicked out, he said something really minuscule, and he decided to resign. It was like right around Obama's time. I can't think of his name, but he was a really good politician. I think he used to be a comedian too.
Oh, you talking about Al Franken?
Yes.
Yeah.
He got kicked out. Man, the stuff that they do in
different day and age, because I don't think Monica Lewinsky would have stopped Trump at this point either. We did not tolerate as much then as we do now. If Trump had a Monica Lewinsky if Monica Lewinsky did what she did to Trump, nobody would care. I give you the last word. I do got to move it on.
It's definitely changed the tone, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep watching this shit show and watching your lives because I can't believe it. It's sad. It's really sad to see. I don't know where we gonna wind up at, but I'm praying that's not where I think we gonna wind up at.
It is indeed a new America. Thank you for coming through, Nicole.
All right, I'll see you later.
Appreciate it. All right, moving on with the program. Help white South Africans Trump. That is something that Elon Musk favors, is helping out the perpetrators of apartheid by giving them refugee status if they want it in America. So it doesn't look good. I'm just going to say that in my opinion, but some folks favor it. Continuing on, March is going to be wild. Can't wait to see this unfold. Under Trump, every month's going to be wild. Under Trump, every fucking month is going to be wild. It's just, he is a media genius. He knows how to stay in the media. Even after this meeting with him and Zelensky, he stated, this is going to be, what did he say? It's going to be TV, it's going to be must-see TV. Something he said, I can't remember what he said. It's going to make for good TV is what he said. So he knew this back and forth with Zelensky was going to make huge ratings. He just knows it. He is really good at doing what it takes to get good ratings. So this is why I often tell people when folks say, you know, you got TDS or somebody has Trump derangement syndrome, I often point out that if you didn't have Trump derangement syndrome, Trump would not be happy. Because if you got Trump derangement syndrome, that means you're tuning in and following Trump. He wants that. All publicity is good publicity. You ever heard of that phrase before? So he wants folks to have TDS. If you weren't talking about him enough, he would do what he could to get you to talk about him. He wants you to be deranged over him. So can't blame the man for getting what he wants. Nothing but haters, and America loves it, says Frederick Hayes. He likes being hated. I mean, the guy got on social media on Thanksgiving, said happy Thanksgiving, and said a whole bunch of hateful shit about the Democrats. That sounds like somebody who wants TDS to be flourishing. I mean, he literally got out there and said happy Thanksgiving to America, and then went on this tirade attacking the liberals. And then he did the same shit on Christmas. Merry Christmas, and then he attacked all the lunatic left and all. I mean, so he wants TDS. He don't even take a break on the holidays. He wants you to have TDS. So think about that the next time you accuse somebody of having TDS. Say to yourself, and that's what the president wants. So he's getting what he wants. Anyway, looking in the comments, but I agree, March is going to be wild, Stevie D and Debo. Appreciate the sub. Tim, we are still in week 6 until Monday. Yeah, it's crazy that this is only week 6. Does this not feel like a whole fucking year? I've seen Fox News do a comparison, and this is where I give Trump credit. I like the fact that Trump speaks to the American people. And my next guest is probably going to tear me another one for doing this. I think they refer to this as fluffing. But my next, one of the things I give Trump credit for is he speaks to the people. Transparency, he talks to the folks. Not always honest, I get it, but he does talk to the people. I saw a comparison. Trump has answered I think it was well over 1,000 questions already. Less than 6 weeks he's been in there. And he's taken over 1,000 questions from the media. Biden at this point was a little bit over 100. So he's almost taken 10 times as many questions from the media as Biden. I'll give Trump credit for that. Certainly. That looks far better than what Biden was doing. Where I'm starting to lose a little bit of credit for Trump is it seems pretty clear that he intends to limit what media personnel have access to him. That doesn't, I mean, imagine Trump in a room with a whole bunch of Peter Duceys. Think you're going to get some tough questions answered? It's like watching Trump on Sean Hannity. You're not going to get a decent, did you see what Ducey was doing to Janine, what is her name? Janine St. Pierre from the Biden administration? You're not going to see any of that if Trump gets to control who can ask questions. So I'm not a fan of that. To me, that looks like a direct attack on the First Amendment. Is that I'm going to eliminate those who may ask tough questions. So somebody asks a real tough question like Ducey does to the liberals, and all of a sudden you never see him at a press conference again. That's what it seems like Trump is trying to do. Now, MAGA's going to love that. I get it, because it makes Trump look better because nobody's challenging him, but they know damn well they would go ape shit if the liberals did something like that. You can't complain about fake news if you're okay with him altering the news you get. Going back to the box, Mike, welcome to the program. Stop comparing an apple to a literal orange, says Will G. You got to explain that one. You got to elaborate on that. How am I comparing an apple to an orange? Miss Wonderful, good evening.
Good evening. You guys should have had that same energy when Jean-Queen Capon or whatever her name was in there. And they was asking her questions or come back, we'll get back with you, get back around with you, girl, before her.
What do you mean?
They need the same energy. They didn't have it then. Why? It's our turn. That's what I got to say about that. And the girl on before me here, maybe it was the one just a few minutes ago.
Come on, okay.
She said a lie. She said they're attacking Medicare and Medicaid, saying they're going to cut our Medicaid and Medicare. No, I talked to the White House the other day. No, they're not. That's a lie. They're attacking the fraud. And there's $2.7 trillion in Medicaid fraud. That's what they're cutting.
Let me interrupt to say this. Hold on, I'll let you continue. Let me interrupt to say this. In regards to they're not attacking Medicaid, they're attacking the fraud. I think the problem with that is they may see something as being waste or fraud that most Americans do not. So when they say they're attacking the fraud, it might be some 70-year-old getting benefits that they may view as fraudulent.
No. Did you see what they caught? We're paying other countries' Medicaid, Medicare. He's just pulling it back. That's all. He's like, we ain't the world's piggy bank. Okay? Why should we? Why should we pay for everybody's else outside of our own? They're not taking care of our own. And Trump even said before, let's get our citizens rich or at least very comfortable in life here in America first. Then we'll help other countries. But I don't want to see one person on the street here in America, especially vets, but no one. You don't want to see no one on the street.
But wait, hold on. Here's the problem. Here's the problem with that. Trump has a record. It ain't like he just got elected the first time. If he don't want to see homeless vets and things like that, what did he do about that during his first term? Because there was no money going to the Ukraine then.
Now by the Democrats and rhinos, he got fought tooth and nail by the Democrats and the rhino Republicans. And if you guys ain't got your eyes open yet, you are so blinded you'll never see. Why do you think they fought him when he ran the first time?
Because he's combative. They're going to always fight Trump. He is combative. Didn't you just hear my spiel about he loves TVS? He likes to fight.
He does, because you know what? You all did that to him, okay? He had to take up for himself every single day coming out of that White House with then people cussing him, F you, Trump, and you're this and you're that, because what they was fed in the media. Now look what's coming out. Adam Schiff was a freaking liar, and he ripped our American peoples up with that freaking bullshit, Russia bullcrap, because he never did come up. Remember, he kept promising, we're going to get that witness. We're going to bring him out. For how long?
Let me get clarity. So what you're basically saying is The only reason Trump is combative is because people have attacked him. He himself never launches attacks. He's an innocent guy that people always attack.
No. He does his share. He does his share now, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but they started on him first. He just simply wanted to get the country back up and running, you know.
So you say...
He didn't even want to run. He didn't even want to run.
Right.
He put himself in a horrible position to be attacked because guess what? The Democrats and rhinos knew. Shit.
But wait a minute, hold on, Miss Wonderful, hold on, wait, Miss Wonderful. You're saying that they started on him first. You do realize he was saying that Obama was born in a different country before he became president.
Oh, wait a minute, you haven't seen, wait, didn't you see the sheriff and them in Florida? That video where they proved he is from, and didn't you see the video where Obama said, yeah, they're America, you know, they're angry because Trump told him I was born in Kenya. He goes, and he's right. He goes, yeah, I was born here, and my mother was born in Hawaii.
So,
okay, and they keep taking that down of him though.
So,
you know, and he's over in Kenya saying that, talking to him.
So we now believe Obama. So when Obama says that Trump lost the 2020 election, do we believe that too?
Do what?
You're saying you're saying when it comes to being born in Kenya, Obama said it, so we now believe him. So I'm asking, when Obama also says that Trump lost the 2020 election, do we believe that too? Why are we believing Obama all of a sudden?
Oh, well, it wasn't just Obama. Judge Mathis, did you hear him?
No.
He said, do you know what they used to call George Bush? Obama used to call him Uncle George. He said they're all in on it. They're all in on it. That's how he got in, snuck into the Senate with no credentials and all kinds of it goes so deep, you guys don't have a blue's clue. Okay? I'm 64 years old, and you guys just act like you're just so blinded, and you just taking in what everybody says, you know? And I'm saying Republicans too.
So
they are so cringy evil, it's unbelievable.
So when Trump said Obama was born in Kenya, was he lying or was he telling the truth?
Oh no, Trump was telling the truth.
Okay.
He was telling the truth. Obama was born in Kenya, yes. And Judge Mathis backed him up. He goes, yes, he did. And he goes, well, let me ask you this, Judge Mathis, do you think Trump is racist? He goes, no, I don't. He goes, do you realize how many black folks he's helped out?
So is Trump typically an honest man then?
Oh, all of them lie. Come on, nobody's perfect.
Because I want you to hear this clip, and I want to get your opinion on this.
Okay.
Not to mention her in the same breath, but Hillary Clinton and her campaign of 2008 started the birther controversy. I finished it. You know what I mean. President Barack Obama was born in the United States, period. Now we all want to get back to making America strong and great again.
So is he lying then, or
You know why I believe he says it now? Because he just wants to get a Biden. We all know the truth. Why keep going back and beating that dead horse to pieces? It's already been proven. So why go back? He's born here. Who cares? He can't. He's done ran and did his thing. Just let it go.
So in other words, he just.
You're right. Hillary knew he was born there, and Trump knew it too, and everybody else did. They just didn't want to look into it.
So what you're basically saying is that Trump just deliberately decided to lie.
Just deliberately decided to lie, and he's done that more than once.
Maybe that might be one reason why people.
For the sake of peace and moving on, just deal with it. Yes, and let's go.
So,
He's here. Let's go. Move on.
So if you admit if you admit that Trump just deliberately decided to lie, how do you know he's not lying about some of the other stuff, like Putin being a dictator or Zelensky being a dictator?
And let me tell you something. And I watched that with Zelensky today, and Trump goes, basically, Zelensky ain't tired of taking our money and spending it on them big mansions he's buying over there. Have you seen him? He don't want that stuff to stop. And Biden kept pouring it into it and getting all those billions back.
But why are you, wait, hold on. You come on, Miss Wonderful. You do realize talking to a country about the threat of World War III that's been getting bombed continuously for 3 years is meaningless to that country. They have been getting bombed into the Stone Age by Russia since 2022. Telling them about World War III don't mean shit to them. They're already in the war.
Yeah, and why? Did friggin' Putin bust a move when Trump was in? When Trump sent that mother bomb over there to him and those javelins to them, he said, "Don't F with America." A new sheriff's in town, Putin. I'm telling you, I want him to F around. Did he move? He didn't bust a move. There was peace over there in the Middle East. There was peace with Putin. He wasn't starting crap, making up. He didn't move an inch. Soon as Biden gets in, he started off Putin right away. And who's the one who hit? Oh, it's okay when the Bidens are sucking butt with him, like when Hillary went over there. We're gonna hit the reset button here.
Okay, I think you're getting a lot wrong here. First of all, Russia had already been fucking with Putin before Trump got elected the first time. It didn't escalate during Trump's term, but it ain't like Russia had already been fucking with Zelensky.
It stopped, didn't it? It stopped under Trump, didn't it? And they wasn't gonna bust a move.
Yeah, but you do realize, hold on. Now, while you are correct, they didn't, hold on. You are correct that it did not progress under Trump. But the fact is, the minute Trump is gone, when Biden got in there, it started happening again. So you can't, hold on, wait a minute. You cannot negotiate based on Trump is in office because the guy's only going to be around for 4 more years. You need agreements. Bragging that it didn't happen under my watch when your watch is only 4 years long ain't saying nothing. If we don't get a treaty, it doesn't mean much.
He knew. He knows when it's under good leadership or not, when he can bust a move. And when it's under a good leadership, whether it's Trump or even a good freaking leader in the Democrat Party, who's seen weakness and went in for the kill. Okay?
All right. I don't know. I think
And everybody would just stop and look. When Trump said they loved Trump, they partied with him. They partied with him and loved him, put him in his movies. Oprah said, "Why don't you run for president? You would be a good one." Until he said, "Oh, you! I found out about you. I'm turning you all in now. I'm going to expose you all to the world." They're like, "Hell no! He knows everything about us." So they started the Russia fake thing. Russia, then the fake Ukraine thing, and then the fake first piece, the second piece. They tried desperately to break him, put him in jail, and then finally tried to take him out because it must be bad. Like Trump said, when I get it out, it's gonna make the hair stick straight.
I gotta move it on, Miss Wonderful. I have not seen some of the things you're talking about. I can certainly ask you questions all day, but
It's coming, baby. Just like all the stuff they've uncovered with the fraud. Don't worry, it's coming slowly but surely. It would have still remained covered, and they'd continue getting rich off the backs of everyone, and Trump and them wouldn't have stepped in. Guarantee you. You have a good one. I love you to pieces.
appreciate it, Miss Wonderful. Thank you very much. A lot of energy and passion there. I saw my comment section going ape shit. Tap the screen. Stevie D, appreciate the rose, by the way. Tap the screen. Can we get to 60? I haven't been soliciting that. You guys have been certainly showing the program some love, but we could get it to about 60. Should have been around 100 by now, but damn. At least 60,000. Tap the screen, smash that like button if you're on YouTube and or TikTok. Appreciate it. Thank you for, somebody sent the message redacted. I didn't see who sent that. Real quick, I want to make sure I didn't miss a super chat. Will G says Biden is totally different from Trump, even in his younger days. Trump ain't shit, and all he is after vanity. Wow. Fake glory. Biden, like him or not, he is a statesman, just like McCain and Carter, something Trump will never attain. I agree with that, but I also will point out folks that say Trump is not an insider, they like the fact that Trump is rough around the edges and that he is not a statesman. A lot of folks feel like Trump can relate to them. I'm not one of them people. The guy's got gold faucets and shit in his crib. I don't believe he can relate to regular people. But I do believe he knows how to speak to people in a manner that you feel like it is relatable. Whereas the liberals running on, transgender issues, for instance, which affects virtually nobody. Same thing with the Palestinian Gaza issue. Most Americans are not affected by that. They don't give a shit about that. Whereas Trump was running on, I'm going to bring down the price of groceries and eggs. I'm not saying he did it, but he was talking to the American people in a language that they were yearning for. Most Americans are not interested in hearing about, a person should be able to use the restroom that they identify for. They were interested in how can you lower the price of groceries. Trump is intelligent in terms of the media. He knew what to say, and that's what worked. I didn't say it was going to actually happen. He did. Is it happening? No. But he knew what to say. He knew what buttons to push, and certainly with the border and all of that. I believe the liberals at the time were running on stuff that it just wasn't getting the ear of the American people. And here we are. As a matter of fact, Trump is trying to force everyone to consider him a statesman. What did he do to get on Mount Rushmore or on a dollar bill or get a Nobel Peace Prize? Nothing, in my opinion. But I've had several folks come on the show and tell me that Trump should be his face should be on the front of Mount Rushmore. And I'm like, how the hell are you going to put his face on the front of Mount Rushmore while you're paying $8 a dozen for eggs? Like, no, he hasn't done anything. I'll tell you, though, this is where my fluffers people point out that I'm fluffy. Where Trump is getting credit, how many times have I made the winning versus success comparison? He is winning his ass off. And for MAGA, what did he say? If you vote for me, you're going to get tired of winning? That's happening. That's happening because they feel like they're enduring those court cases and stuff with him, and he's beating all of that. They feel like he's enduring, they're enduring Liz Cheney and all them folks with him. He's winning his ass off. So it's the winning that is making Trump supporters really like and adore him. But in terms of tangible accomplishments, and when I say tangible, this is the successes versus the winnings. When I say tangible accomplishments, I mean things that you and I will actually feel. It will make our lives better. There ain't a lot to check off yet. I'm not saying it won't be in the future, but for me, if Elon Musk says he ended hundreds of millions of dollars of waste, fraud, and abuse, that doesn't change my life at all. That is a win. That's not a success. That is something, if you're on the right, you like to hear that condoms are not being bought for African countries and all this other bullshit. But in terms of your actual life, it doesn't make one damn bit of a difference for you. You're not going to get less hours at work. You're not going to get a bonus. You're not going to pay less at the pump. It's not going to change your life at all. And all of Trump's winnings so far have been exactly that. They've been winnings that make you feel good, but they actually have no change in your actual life. He's done a lot of winnings in the area of DEI and affirmative action. And like I said, I'm only going to identify 2 genders. All of those are wins. They're not successes. None of that changes your life. I mean, most Americans do not know anybody out there that is a girl playing for a sports team where some boy is trying to take their record. That doesn't affect well over 99% of Americans. Most of us don't know a single person that's dealing with that. So that's a win. It sounds great that girls don't have to worry about some boy playing with them on the team, even though we don't know a single girl that's dealing with that. It's a win. It's not a success. So if Elon Musk waste, fraud, and abuse findings turn into tax cuts or a $5,000 check or some of this other shit, then that's a success. None of that is happening right now. So I don't see where anybody should be on the front of Mount Rushmore. In the comments, Stevie D said it just happened in my home state in Maine. And I'll tell you this, by the way, in regards to a biological boy going into a girl's bathroom or something like that and assaulting a kid, you got a much greater chance of your son going into a bathroom and being assaulted by a straight male than anybody. Because that's most of the people who are doing it. It ain't transgender people, it's straight males. But look at in the comments, that's not a win, says Michael. To me, a win. When I say a win, I mean a win for Trump supporters. May not be a win for you if you're liberal, but a win is doing the things that Trump, like I said, the DEI and all of that stuff. But it ain't affecting your life, so to me, it's not a success. And if you don't have successes, you don't get your face on Mount Rushmore. I just don't see that. If you look back right now at the Trump presidency and say what has accomplished verifiable, it's going to be a bunch of wins. It's not gonna, he first got to get 91 indictments and beat them all. That doesn't change your life. I always say it's kind of like watching the Eagles win the Super Bowl. If you're an Eagles fan, makes you feel really happy after that victory, beating Mahomes and winning the Super Bowl by a landslide or whatever the hell it was. Great win. But you got to go to work tomorrow. You got to go to work tomorrow. You don't get any financial benefit from it at all unless you put a little money on FanDuel. I bet the wrong way. I lost. Will G says, like I said, all of that you said is vanity and fake glory. Okay. A win, in your opinion, is vanity and fake glory. I'll give you that. Going back to the box, though, Mike, welcome to the program. Now, I'm assuming Mike is going to hit me where it hurts in a fluffer, as usual. Good evening, Mike. You're saying it's not a win.
Hell no, it's not a win, Tim. But before I really dive into your ass on the Trump Fluffer Friday, screen share the live, get Tim up to 75,000 out before we get up out of here. Lord knows he needs that because the shit he's spewing today is ridiculous.
Oh, my God. Did you see the interview with him? Did you see this Zelensky and Trump?
I did.
What's your opinion?
You know what? Not surprised. Trump, listen, MAGA React said before, this is what I heard about the liberals act like they have a crystal ball, like they know everything. We don't have a crystal ball, but we saw this shit coming.
What do you mean?
We saw Trump selling Ukraine out before it even happened, Tim.
Yeah.
We've been talking about it.
Yeah.
Have we or have we not?
Yeah.
It's not new.
I don't think anybody expected a Trump presidency to be Ukrainian friendly. I think made promises kept. He made it pretty clear he wasn't favorable to the Ukraine and he liked Putin. I mean, I think everybody knew that.
Well, did they?
Who didn't?
Listen, well, from what I'm hearing, it was all about stop sending money over to Ukraine. It wasn't let Russia completely run roughshod over Ukraine. They were talking about ending this and the deal peacefully for both sides. That was the bullshit.
I don't know. If you're bitching about our money should not be going to Ukraine, it's pretty clear at the very least you either want Russia to stop or you're okay with letting them run. Because they already know if we don't send them money and weapons, or weapons, not money, if we don't send them weapons, they're going to lose. And Trump was making it clear he didn't want to continue sending them weapons.
Just an average mom, yes, he's absolutely selling them out. And if you think he's not selling them out, you're not being paying attention. Speaking of not paying attention, that's what we're talking about. Low information, Tim. Let's get back to this winning shit or bullshit. Stop lowering the bar. So, Tim, let me ask you something.
Sure.
If I owe you $20, and I give you your $20, and you're like, well, he said he owed me $20 and he gave me $20. But you find out that I knocked the old lady out, robbed her to give it to you. Are you still okay about how you got it? Is that still a win?
No, I would not be happy about that.
But is that a win?
No, that's not a win. But if I don't care about the broad, then it is a win.
Okay, perfect. Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
So what you're saying, it's a win to people with lower expectations. It's a win for people that don't give a shit about other people. If that's what you are quantifying the win for, then you have to qualify that when you say it.
I'll give you that when you say don't care about other people. I think because right after Putin went back, I keep saying Putin, right after Zelensky went back and forth with Trump, I had Trump supporters tell me directly over the phone, because I was talking to a couple of them, like, at that point, we shouldn't do shit for Zelensky and let his country get ran over. So no, they don't care. Like if you're bold enough to embarrass Trump or even try to criticize Trump on national TV, then your people should suffer. No, they don't care about people. So yeah, I'll give you that.
And listen, so you have to qualify the winning. If you qualify it under those circumstances, you have no argument for me. But when you just say winning, that's like saying they're cheating. They won because they cheated. They won because they paid the refs. They won because they did that.
And even though you know that and you will say that, you still call it just a win. That's not our definition of winning.
Well,
that's all I'm saying, Tim. That's all I'm saying. Now, his supporters think that I agree with you. Their supporters think they're winning because they're only looking at it from that perspective. But now, for example, the ones that are losing their jobs now that supported him and are upset with him, they thought they won. Now they feel like they're losing, but the game they were playing is the same game. They just didn't recognize
they were going to be,
right.
Yeah, I heard somebody say that they voted for the cruelty to others. They didn't think it was going to happen to them. They were totally fine with what they're crying about happening to somebody else, but now that it's happening to them, they're acting shocked.
Well, and that's why we gotta. That's why when you hear me talking, I'm like, we have to make sure we're speaking the same language, and the idea of what we all understand a win to be. And if anybody on your live has children, when they were playing sports or doing whatever competitive, you should have been teaching them to play it the quote unquote right way, right? We teach our, do it the right way.
Okay.
We define that right way. And then now you want to make allowances because that umpire and he's gonna make some calls in our favor. You go out there knowing that you went into it with this advantage and you wave your flag like you played it on the up and up. That's bullshit. And if we normalize that, we will never agree on anything.
Well, shit, you saw that on January 6th.
You damn right we did see it on January 6th. And listen, to just average mom or people who think that Zelensky, you guys are missing the point. This president is sitting there fighting for his country's existence.
Yeah.
For their sheer existence.
But I'm going to play the MAGA role in this, and I see Will G agrees with you. Says thanks, Mike. Well said. I'm going to play the MAGA role on this, though. You say he's fighting for his very existence, and if you're fighting for your existence, I'm trying to give you a ceasefire. Take the damn deal. How do you respond to Trump if he says that?
Because, well, if he's not responding to it, that means he knows it's bullshit, Tim. That means he knows that what he's saying and what he's doing are not the same thing, Tim. Nobody in their right mind. Look, Zelensky didn't have this disposition the last time he was here, did he? No. When he came, when President Trump disrespected him in that moment. We were on your show that day having this conversation when he talked about Russia and, in front of Zelensky like he wasn't even standing there.
Yeah, Trump doesn't like Zelensky. I think the perfect phone call, remember I brought that up, since that phone call, Trump doesn't like Zelensky. I think that's pretty obvious.
But you know what, Tim? If you know that you're going to do somebody dirty, you start finding ways before you do the dirt to not like them. So it makes you feel better about what you're about to do to him.
Yeah.
Just keep it, because what has he done to say that he doesn't like him or somehow he's just been fighting for his country.
Oh.
Because we said we would protect him. The U.S. said we would protect him and support him when they gave up their nuclear arms. That's what we agreed to. That's what we said. This man is fighting for the existence of his people. And if I'm sitting in a room with you and I feel like you're not listening to me, this is not about frustrated about losing my goddamn job. This is about a frustration of losing the country as we know it. Because you think that Russia's going to stop? If Russia knows they have no resistance from us and we're going to turn our back and walk the other way, what's going to happen, Tim?
So you do buy into the notion that they won't stop at Ukraine?
What has Russia given us with their history to say that they would conduct themselves accordingly by the rules of engagement? What have they done?
Yeah.
They didn't get, listen, Putin he earned his reputation, right? He earned his reputation. Dictators earn it by showing you that that's who I am. That's what Putin and Russia does. It's not new.
Then why doesn't Trump see it? If this is the case, why doesn't Trump see this?
Because they've got some deals going on that we don't know about in the background, and these minerals in the earth, and him and his boss Elon. It's about the money. It's about them oligarchs. It's about the dollars, and they don't give a damn. Listen, they're doing to Zelensky just what they do to anybody else. They demonize them. They start convincing you that they are the enemy. So when they do what they're going to do, you have no sympathy or empathy for it. It's no different than the Haitians. It's no different, Tim. It's no fucking different. This is fascism. It's been going on. People keep acting like it's not happening. It's happening in front of us. Now they're taking people of the same skin color. They're just on a different part of the earth. He's called the man a dictator. He cut him off. Now he's got everybody convinced somehow he was disrespectful in the Oval Office. He's fighting for his country. What else do you expect him to do? Where's your patience going to run out when you believe that you're at a position where, what else is he supposed to do? He's been nice. He's done the things he's supposed to do. The last time he didn't say anything. This man is trying to do everything to save this country. And to sit there and have J.D. Vance bring his bitch ass out the shadows when he hasn't been speaking about nothing for weeks. We've been looking for his ass. We've been looking for his... Have we been looking for him or not, Tim? And you know the funny part about all of this? The same J.D. Vance man said all the things that I just said about Trump before, and then retracted them to get in his good grace when he called Trump a fascist, when he called Trump a racist, and then before he became the nominee several years back. Yeah. And now all of a sudden, the very things he said, and he said, I was wrong, I changed my mind. The motherfucker was right from the beginning. And now, and listen, if you don't believe me, go back. And
there's a song that even talks about it. You know, he's I'm a never Trumper and all that. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Everything he said then is what Trump is doing now. And it's funny. So his supporters act as if they keep saying the left and liberals and Democrats. And it's like, set all that stuff aside for a minute and just take a second and get out of your fluffing mode and look at the facts. Look at what happened today. Today was a disgrace. On what other world leader is going to want to come sit down with Trump, Tim?
But how does that make Zelensky look?
What is he supposed to do?
He came to the United States. He disrespected the president, some would say.
Those same people would say that they were eating the cats and dogs. Those same people would say that the election was stolen. Those same people would say transgenders are an issue and men being in girls. They would say the same shit with no substantive information or data at all.
I can't argue with it. I can't argue with it.
But here's the thing, Tim. This is sad because if people can't understand why that man is sitting in that office basically pleading for us to do what the fuck we said we were going to do. That's all he's saying. Just hold up your end of the bargain. We wouldn't have gave up our nuclear arsenal if you weren't going to follow through on what the fuck you said.
Yeah, what are the chances, based on what you're talking about the Ukrainians gave up their nuclear weapons and now all of a sudden they deal with this bullshit? What are the chances that some of the European nations might decide, well, maybe we need to get our hands on some more nuclear weapons?
Why would you not, Tim? With the U.S. is showing us that his supporters think this makes us look strong. This makes us look weak as fuck. It makes people not trust us. It makes people go, well, you can trust him if you want to. I got to get my own nuclear arsenal because
I'll agree partially. I don't agree that it makes us look weak. I do agree it makes us look like we are untrustworthy. Because, like you're right, if we've shown that during a moment of crisis, like I mentioned the Article 5 thing. If he goes after he defeats the Ukraine and then goes into Poland or Romania, I don't feel confident that if that happens under Trump's watch, he would rush to defend Poland or Romania. I think, as you're pointing out, say they did something wrong and demonize him, he might accuse Poland or Romania of provoking a war, therefore forfeiting their Article 5 protection. So I agree with that, but I don't know if it makes us look weak. It makes us look untrustworthy to me.
Okay, so let's go back and define weak, so like we defined winning, shall we?
All right, let's go down that road.
Because somebody says it makes us look strong.
No,
but we all say bullies. Bullying somebody isn't a strong sign of strength, right? We've always said that, right?
Okay.
Bullying somebody isn't a sign of strength. Lying about somebody isn't a sign of strength. Stealing from somebody isn't a sign of strength, right?
Well, stealing can be, because colonizing or colonization is stealing. And some people do view that as a sign of strength. I mean, that's really what that is, stealing people's land.
Yeah, but but what you're doing is you're bullying them because you know they can't defend themselves to the extent that you can take it from them.
Yeah.
That's bullying. You call it whatever fuck you want.
But you need strength to bully them.
Physical strength doesn't amount to looking strong or being a strong nation, Tim.
Depends on who you
can
ask.
go fucking take it.
If you go and take a bunch of countries by stealing their land and you now develop an empire, to me that does look strong. I don't favor doing it, but you will start to look strong. Like he rebuilt the Soviet Union, for instance, by bullying and taking a bunch of countries. That makes him look stronger.
Okay, so in contrast, a bigger person just goes and just kicks the shit out of somebody older, smaller, and just takes what they want because they can physically do it. They're physically stronger.
It doesn't look good. I get it doesn't look good. I get what you're saying. It doesn't look good. I'm just simply saying, though.
What do you call that person? What would you call that person, Tim? Because we know that we have the military, right? Might over most countries. We know that.
Okay.
I mean, you go fucking and bully a country that you know can't truly defend themselves. Is that a sign of strength? A sign of strength is to say, listen, we need to come to some level, some decorum so it doesn't get to that.
I mean, to be honest with you, that's how we became a superpower. We kind of did shit like that.
100%. I'm not denying that for any part. You understand? My position is not left, or it's conservatism. It's white Christian nationalism. It's the idea that white America has always just went and took and colonized whatever the fuck they want, and they somehow think it's strength. If you have more might than somebody, and you just trying to impose it because you can, that's not fucking a sign of strength from a leadership perspective. If we're talking about street gangs and street violence, well then, how come we don't feel the same way about cartels?
They're not white. I don't know.
Well, hello. Hey, again, how come we don't feel that way about the cartels? They're showing their might, they're showing their strength, and the only thing different they're doing is they're bringing product to a consumer.
Cartels are pretty damn strong. I view them as strong. Cartels have a lot of power and control.
And again, how do they wield it?
Same way, bullying people.
But we just named them terrorists.
Yeah, and that's gonna make us stronger because we're gonna take their money too.
The same people we're talking about, Trump and his administration, that they think that's strong, they named them terrorists, but we're all of a sudden the good guys for punching down on people. It's bullshit, Tim. Plain and simple. And listen, I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna drop on and move on. And if we feel so good about it, and we think, and there's the people that are listening, and you go home, if you feel so good about it, then clearly that's what you're teaching your children, and clearly that's what you were taught. And if you say they're not the same, you're full of shit. If you say, but you know what though, Tim? We've proven that that's happening. That's how the young girl in Texas unalived herself because she was being bullied by 11-year-old kids that came in that classroom and thought that behavior was okay. And where the hell were they getting that behavior from, Tim? So they teach their kids this bullshit, and then they excuse it, and now Zelensky's he's the fucking villain? Come on, man.
We're in the new America, Mike. We're in the new America. I gotta go.
No, you know what? No. We're not in the new America. It's just been dusted off.
They've been dusted off.
It's been dusted off. See, this shit was laying up underneath the weeds, and they blew the dust off of this racism and that. This shit's been around. They just brought it to the White House in 4K. That's what happened.
And you think? And you believe that Trump is the water on the seed?
Well, no, I don't believe he was the water. I believe the Heritage Foundation. I believe the rest of them were the water. He was the weed. He was the root. He was their vehicle to bring this shit because they're all following him. Even Lindsey Graham's punk ass got on there talking about Zelensky needs to resign.
Yeah.
What? Sit your ass down somewhere. Sit your ass down somewhere. All you're doing is getting people worked up behind this shit. But what if Trump went over there and said this? Would Zelensky have been out of line then? We gotta stop. We gotta call a thing a thing. Winning, the definition of winning, that we gotta give it a qualifier so people understand. The bar is.
I'm not. Yeah, you and I may have a slight disagreements on the qualifier part, but I gotta move it on, man. Appreciate it.
By the way, last thing, you ain't got your gold on, so that's probably why you got all this. You ain't got your gold rope on today. 75,000. We can get to 75,000 before 5 o'clock. But listen, we got to be better than this, Tim. Hey, listen, if I don't see you, have a good weekend, man. And that shit today was bullshit. All right, later.
Holla at your boy. Thank you. Appreciate it. Tell the caller to read Post Green Berets to Mexico. When it is not giving reparation money owed to black people to Ukraine first. I don't think black people going to get. I don't think blacks are going to get reparation money whether something happens in Ukraine or not. There's no stomach in America to give blacks reparation money. Even if it's a black, even if you could bring back the actual slaves, we will be against that shit. Because some of the victims of some of the actual living victims of Black Wall Street were recently denied reparations. And we're talking to people who it actually happened to. So there is no love for reparations no matter what the hell's going on with the Ukraine. Nobody's going to do that. I mean, the thing was, we're not going to give it to the actual people. We're going to say no to their descendants, and as time goes on, then we'll just start saying, well, you ain't had nothing to do with it, so why should we give you reparations? There was no effort to ever do that. That was never going to happen. Bullies are biatches that can't pick on people their own size. True. That is true. And I think under Trump, he is using it. I mean, listen, Trump is a businessman. And it wouldn't surprise me if that's how he got very successful in business, is bullying smaller businesses, buying them out, hostile takeovers or whatever. I don't know that, I'm speculating, but if you bring in a businessman to run this country, he's going to bring in business tactics. MAGA likes it because it's all about money. If you favor money over everything else, then yeah, Trump is your guy. But I'm not a fan of 100% of running the country like a business, because there's a lot of civil services that you shouldn't operate on a for-profit basis. I mean, if he privatizes schools and stuff like that, yeah, he's starting to do more and more things on a for-profit basis, or for-profit basis, privatizing things, such as the post office. I'm not a fan. There are certain areas of a civilized society that profit margin should not be factored in. For instance, I always bring up incarceration. Nobody should be profiting off of Americans being incarcerated, and we know they do. That's why our recidivism rate is so terrible. That's why we have more people in prison per capita and simple in population terms than any other country on earth. It's because people are making money off of it. Fact is, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's killing people. If people make money off of doing it, people are going to be doing it. So there's certain areas you don't want people to profit off of, because they'll pursue the money, even if it's taking somebody's life or their freedom. So the running the country like a business, those are the areas I don't favor it in. Is like healthcare, for instance. If somebody's going to live or die, I hate the fact that in this country, the decision on whether you live or die is based on profit. If you got money, we'll let you live. If you don't, unfortunately, nothing we can do for you. I don't think that belongs in there. But if you're running a business, as Trump is a businessman. If you don't have money to pay for the good or service a business is offering, they don't have the time of day for you. I don't think you should have that attitude in various civil services of this country. I just don't. I mean, you want to dial 911 and the police respond depending on how much money you got? We didn't rush to your house to put out the fire because we didn't think you had enough to pay us. I mean, these are areas where a businessman don't belong. But that's what we're dealing with now. And so you're going to start seeing, probably, with Trump in power and him having business acumen, more and more facets of American life that are based on profit. I mean, look at all of the federal cuts. That ain't based on doing a humane thing. That's based on saving money as quick as possible. I mean, Elon Musk is viewing the federal employees like pawns in the chess game. It's a means to an end. I want to lower the budget. Who gives a damn, what we're doing to these actual human beings? I just want to lower the budget. So that part I'm not a fan of. But I know a lot of folks are. Thank you, Shell, for the support. Will says he may think he's running a business until it's not. It's the government's son, he is messing with the world. It's the government's son, he's messing with the world. Well, yeah, he is. But he's 80. Trump is not going to suffer any from what he's done. It's going to be the generations that come. I mean, he's ultra wealthy. He will die ultra wealthy. So we may not realize any positives or negatives from his administration until after he's gone. So he don't have nothing to worry about. Some would argue he only ran to prevent from being locked up or dealing with the courts anyway. He's succeeded. He's succeeded. So he don't have anything to worry about. So when you say that he's messing with the world or whatever, it'll happen after him. You don't have to worry about that. The juvenile system is one of the biggest businesses in the country, says Ms. Mobetta. Yeah, you shouldn't be making money by locking up kids. They had that, and by the way, Biden of all people, Joe Biden pardoned that guy. The what is his name? The Kids for Cash judge that was literally sentencing juveniles to incarceration because he was getting a financial kickback from the owners of the facilities. So, someone had a for-profit juvenile detention facility, and they found this judge that would, for kids brought in for truancy or some really mild crime, instead of giving the kid some type of supervision or some kind of warning, give them 20 days inside because the institution was benefiting from it. Joe Biden pardoned that judge. I don't know what was in Biden's mind. Let's say he had dementia and didn't realize what he was doing. But that was horrible. Anyhow, folks, I do appreciate the 70,000 on the likes. I may have to step away for a minute. Crystal Lopez, thank you, says Clinton cut 400,000 jobs. We got a balanced budget and a great economy. Nobody did it before or since. At the end of the day, Trump cutting jobs to balance the budget or to cut waste, fraud, and abuse isn't necessarily a bad thing if he does it right. He's not doing it right. A lot of the firings are illegal. A lot of the people getting fired are parts of, they belong to the union and they have actual contracts that they've bartered and worked with the government that have to be, that dictate the way you can terminate somebody. There are rules to follow. And he's not doing that. They're sending out letters telling people that they're unproductive, or people who've never had any type of productivity. When they come to you, you get your 3-month, 6-month report where they're judging your productivity, and they're telling people that you don't have the merit. These people are like, I've never had a report since I've been here. Or some folks are like, all of my reports have been great, and I get this letter out of nowhere. So, yeah, the firings are not legal. They're not legal at all. So I'm not saying that he couldn't balance the budget and do what Clinton did with Newt Gingrich and all of them. It could work out. But what Clinton did took years. Trump has fired all these people in a series of a few weeks. You got to give people notice, all kinds of shit he hasn't done. The firings are not legal. They're not legal. They're not telling the people the truth. They're just making up excuses. The letter you're sending people telling them they got to give you 5 things they've done, otherwise they're fired, and a lot of MAGA supports that shit. You've been working somewhere for 10, 12 years, and somebody gonna fire you for not answering one fucking email, and the email had 0 importance to the job. And MAGA's okay with that. That's why I'm talking about the cruelty part. How you gonna be okay with somebody getting fired? This is a drill. That email is only a drill. It's not based on anything other than, I'm gonna see if he responds to this. He or she responds. Okay, if you don't respond to the email, how about a verbal warning? You get rolled up. You don't get terminated. That's insane. You don't get fired for that. Like I said, the only way I could see something like that happening, we got a major contract coming up that has to be signed. The paperwork has to be reviewed. And it's a multi-million-dollar contract. I'm gonna send you the email. I want you to review this. We have to respond to them to beat our competitor by 8 in the morning. And you don't respond to that email. You realize how much money you cost us? Unfortunately, I gotta let you go. Then I can understand. But this is an email that has nothing to do with productivity or anything. I'm just gonna poke my nose in and see who responds to this. And if they don't respond, I'm gonna fire them. Don't matter if they've been working for 2 days or 20 years. That's bullshit. That's cruel. And you shouldn't favor that. You shouldn't favor that. But a lot of people do, and it is what it is. Real quick, Will says, let's get this straight. Trump wants to loot the treasury and make the government his playground and mall food court for him and his rich buddies. I don't know why Trump, look, at this point, Trump has more money than, I mean, he's like 80 years old. Like, you're not gonna run out of the money you have right now. Why would you do this? To me, like I said, that almost sounds like cruelty if you're correct. I hope you're wrong, Will, but if you're right about that, that just sounds like cruelty. Man. Anyhow, appreciate the 72. We didn't quite get the 75,000 on the likes, but thank you, Mike, also for trying to make that happen. All you're talking about is just your opinion, says Faison. The whole fucking program is opinion-oriented, Faison, including what you're saying. And by the way, if you come through on Instagram or TikTok, I'll bring you up live anytime. You can tell me where my opinion is wrong. You can criticize me any way you want. But this is a political show. It's all opinion. I mean, we play clips and you see what's fact, but everybody makes their, gives their assumptions and statements on it. So I don't know where you're going with that. It's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. I got to get my ass out of here. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for the support. Appreciate it. And yeah, he said it. It's all opinion. What do you think political shows are all about? They're all opinion. Catch you guys tomorrow. Wow.